If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 126, Hyperfocus. Gyaha. After getting smacked by Grim again, Rya's body shot back like a cannonball as Grim used Grim-style unknowing fire to chase after him. These movements. It's not something a human should be capable of. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Increasing his speed once more, Grim's figure flashed in front of Rya as he sunk a flame-coated fist deep into his guts and slammed him into a wall. Rengoku. Arg. Rya screamed as his body shot off Grim's fist and collided heavily with the wall. We're not done yet. Grim laughed with sadistic glee as he activated a different spell moments before Rya smashed into the wall. Breath of Wind, 4th form, Rising Dust Storm. Smashing into the wall, a small green circle manifested behind Rya's back as a violent torrent of green wind burst out, slicing up his delicate skin and launching him right in front of Grim, whose sword was pointing outwards and towards him. Hyperfocus not only enhanced Grim's sensing abilities, as a side effect it also upgraded the speed in which he processed the way his own mana worked, allowing him to switch between magic types faster than before. Stab. Ah. Feeling the weight of Rya's body embed itself on his sword, Grim looked into the man's eyes and said, "Heat lightning. Is this the end for me?" Lying on the floor with a small hole in his chest, Rya felt the blood slowly drain away from his body as the after effects of Grim's heat lightning rampaged inside his body. While he could heal himself with the mana amount he had left, with Grim standing over him he wondered if there was any point. He had been beaten. No, he had been crushed. And to make matters even worse, he could tell that the only reason he was still alive was so that Grim could watch the life slowly fade from his eyes. It was almost as if he was mocking him. Telling him to heal up just so he could put him back down again. Compared to just straight out killing him, this way of dying was much crueler and humiliating. Knowing that he had the ability to save himself but unable to do so due to this fiend standing over him. What kind of sick-minded person could find pleasure in such depravity? I activated my third eye, copied his magic and kept healing myself. Yet somehow I'm the one bleeding out. What kind of sick joke is that? While Rya was busy dealing with his emotional crisis, Grim stood over the bleeding man feeling woozy. Damn it! My head's killing me. Whilst Grim's use of hyperfocus played the biggest role in his victory over the Third Eye member, the mental strain it put on his mind was great. To perceive the things he did in this fight, his brain was forced to work on overdrive, causing the mental fatigue to set in quickly. For someone like him who wasn't accustomed to using hyperfocus in battle, if the battle dragged on any longer than it had, his chances of winning would have dropped substantially. Not to say that the battle wasn't fun. If anything, it showed him that it wasn't his magic that made him scary as a fighter, it was him himself. Whether it be his Grim style, hyper-focus Black Air Force energy or pure ferocity, Rya wasn't able to copy any of it. Capital. Sigh, it's unusual for you to have something to say. Overlooking the kingdom from his high-situated location, Julius's back faced William Vengeance as he knew that the truth he had always feared was about to become a reality. Is something wrong, William? Eye of the Midnight Sun base. Sitting on the ground, Grim sighed and looked at the dying Rya, whose body was now lying in a pool of his own blood. So what was the point of all this? Barely managing to turn his head, Rya looked over to him with a face full of confusion. Your plan, why become a terrorist? I don't buy that change the kingdom for the better bullshit. So what were you guys really planning? I didn't take you for the type to care. In truth he actually didn't, but with the backlash from hyperfocus messing with his head, he needed a minute to sort himself out. And there was no way he'd just sit in silence while waiting to recover. Besides, Rya didn't know he was taking a break. In his eyes it must look like he was dragging things out. I didn't take you for the type to waste time. Grim replied back. Had. Rya laughed, coughing up some blood. So what was your deal? Why do all this? Sigh. Well, it's not like he'll be able to stop us anyway. Taking a moment to think about it, Rya decided that he didn't have anything to lose by telling Grim his history. Not to mention the fact that just like with Fana and Patry, he also felt a weird affinity for the boy sitting a bit away from him. Have you ever heard of the elves? Pretend I haven't. I guess I'll start at the beginning then. Capital. As the Wizard King, I will protect them. Revealing his grimoire, Julius declared his intentions of protecting the Clover Kingdom and its citizens to the now transformed Patry. Protect them? He laughed. Then show me how you'll protect them from this. Rising higher into the air, Patry released the sealing magic placed on him, causing his mana to swell and expand. As his magic power grew at an exponential rate, light magic started forming itself into a sphere around him before flattening out into a giant glowing sunlight circle with countless blades descending out from it. "Mommy, mommy!" A young boy excitedly pulled on his mother's arm. "What, Lucas?" She answered with a tired tone. "What's that?" He pointed to the sky. "What's oh my god!" Looking down on the masses from above, a cold light flashed through Patry's eyes as the swords of light fell on the Clover Kingdom. "I will rain punishment down on all of you ninjan." A/N, rewatched the Goku Black arc in DBS and am currently addicted to the word ninjan at the moment. Creator's thoughts. Errata. LOL, I made hyper-focus as the opposing power to Ultra Instinct, while UI focused on the body, HF centered on the mind. And since Goku's body couldn't handle the physical strain of using it in his first battle with Jiren, I thought it'd only be fair if Grimm's mind couldn't handle the mental strain in his first proper fight using it. Feel like giving myself a pat on the back for that one. Also nice to be back writing daily chapters now that uni is on break. Hopefully I haven't failed though, honestly don't know what I'll do if I did. Real world problems, am I right? Chapter 127, Rise of the Elves. Eye of the Midnight Sun Base. So that's what happened. After listening to Ryu's story about the elf slaughter 500 years ago, Grimm had finally recovered enough to fight once again. So the humans wiped them out and this Patry dude somehow managed to reincarnate into the body of Captain Vengeance and went around using the name of the elf leader. Dude, that's too bad. But how strong was this leader of yours? Hey. Still conscious despite losing a lot of blood, Ryu was caught off guard by this question. I said how strong was this Licht dude that you guys all seem to whore yourself to? Grimm repeated, getting up and stretching his limbs. How strong was Licht? What kind of absurd question is that? No, what's more absurd is the fact that he doesn't care that our goal is to reincarnate ourselves into the body of this kingdom's humans. It's almost like the only thing on his mind is fighting against strong opponents. If he gets to the upper floors before Patry's finished gathering the stones, he might damage Licht's new body. I've kept him down here as long as possible by stretching out the events of what happened 500 years ago. I need to keep him here just a little bit longer. Licht. I'm not even in the same league as him. At the height of his power, even that wizard king of yours wouldn't hold a candle to him. Seriously? Yet. He nodded. Whoa. Now I really want to fight him. Fight him, laughs, you might just get your wish. What do you, Maya? Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Feeling an outrageous amount of mana erupt from the upper area, Grimm's head snapped upwards as he felt a tingle run down his spine. This mana. It's doing something to my blood. While Grimm was busy trying to understand why his blood was reacting to this new wave of mana, a grin surfaced on the defeated Ryu's face as he said. We've won. Clover Kingdom. Mommy. Why is there another bright light? I don't know, honey. Black Bull's base. After Henry, Ghosh, Gray and Gordon had defeated the attacking Eye of the Midnight Sun members and had sent them running, they stood watching the intense white light stemming from the distance. First swords made of light dropping from the sky and now this? What the hell is going on in this kingdom? Ghosh muttered. Patry location. As he placed the last magic stone into the reincarnation artifact, Patry turned back to look at Voltos, Sally and Raids with pure disgust emanating from his eyes. And after hearing his words, Raids and the others were stunned as their leader looked at them with an expression they had never seen before. Master Licht. You humans need to disappear, but before you do, repent by becoming the foundation of our resurrection. Eye of the Midnight Sun base upper area. There it is. Klaus yelled as he, Mimosa and another royal knight ran up a long stairway. The core. It's just up ahead. Feeling the mana waves out from that room, Mimosa's breath was almost taken away. What an unbelievable amount of mana. Guys, be careful. She yelled. Taking note of what she just said, the quartet ran into the room filled with mana and were awestruck by what they saw. Is that a person? In what should have been the base's core, floating in the middle of a completely empty room was an unconscious white-haired person with delicate features and strange markings on their face. What the hell? Before anyone could say anything, a flash of blinding white light burst out of the floating person's body. Ugh! Mimosa and the others shielded their eyes. What's happening? In the center of that bright light, the white-haired person in question opened his eyes slowly. And along with the opening of his eyes came a rush of terrifying mana. This isn't power that belongs to a human. While she had felt terrifying amounts of mana from someone like Grimm, the quality of his mana compared to this person was completely different. Whereas Grimm's mana held an outrageous quantity, the mana coming from this person, its quantity could be compared to Grimm's, but its quality was on a whole other level. Just standing in his presence made it feel like they were moments away from being pierced. This person is dangerous. We need to retreat. Mimosa yelled. Unfortunately, this shout fell on deaf ears as in front of her Yuno's body was glowing with a golden radiance. Why Yuno? All around the Clover Kingdom, commoners and nobles were being hit by this golden light and had their bodies shrouded in a golden aura. Even members of the Black Bulls like Gauche and Luck were no exception. Eye of the Midnight Sun base lower area. Hey? Why are you glowing? Grimm tilted his head as he saw a golden aura settle around the once dying Rhea's body, who had somehow managed to teleport further away. The same thing that's happening to yours. What? Looking down at himself, Grimm noticed that just like Rhea, his body was surrounded by a golden aura. What the hell? To think you were one of us. Rhea said in surprise, ignoring Grimm's confusion. I don't know which member is coming to replace you, but you were a real pain in the ass. Hopefully your counterpart will be easier to get along with. Goodbye, Grimm. Goodbye? I'm not going anywhere, fuckface. Unfortunately for you that is not case. But don't worry, you won't be the only human disappearing. Grimm's Mindscape King Realm. Standing in the infinite expanse known as Grimm's Mindscape, a confused elf soul looked around in confusion. Where am I? This isn't the body I was going towards. Ah, you made it. A voice sounded out within the darkness. Who said that? Snapping around quickly, the confused elf soul saw a distorted figure sitting on a throne looking at him with a playful expression. Hello. The figure waved. Facing such a weird-looking figure, the soul frowned and tried to probe him. Who are you? It asked cautiously. You don't need to worry about that. King smiled, standing to his feet. I'd say I was sorry for drawing your soul to this place instead of your intended target, but that would be a lie. Stepping closer to the soul, King's presence seemed to grow as a terrifying shadow projection seemed to emerge from the darkness and stand over him. You see, I was in need of a catalyst and your soul just so happens to fit the bill. Catalyst? Yep, I need the power of your soul to awaken my avatar's true potential. Sadly, that means I'll have to wipe away everything except that small power dwelling within yourself. No hard feelings though, you're just unlucky. As King finally arrived in front of him, the pressure he was emitting was too much for the soul to handle as it found itself rooted in place. What's going on? SHH. Don't struggle, it will only make what's about to happen hurt more. That being said, this form just won't do. Watching King transform into his true state, the elf's eyes shuddered as his figure and the shadow behind him started fusing into one large shadowy figure whose size easily loomed over him. Gulp. Be proud, little elf, although your return to the mortal realm was short, it will have world-shaking effects for the events ahead. Take solace in that as you disappear forever. No. Creator's thoughts. Errata. Finally into the real start of the elf arc. And kind of feel bad for the elf soul. Imagine returning to life just to die moments later, lol. Worst part is that King will completely erase him. So no afterlife for him like the rest of the elves at the end of the arc. Hopefully he wasn't married or had any kids, because that would mean Grimm unintentionally destroyed another family. Chapter 128, Potential Unleashed. Back in the outside world, the golden glow around Grimm's body vanished, much to Rhea's shock as he stood there staring at a smiling Grimm. Guess I'm sticking around for a bit longer. What the hell just happened? Was the body not compatible with the soul? No, I clearly felt my brethren's power in his body. But why did it suddenly vanish? While Rhea was thinking about why Grimm returned to normal, he was suddenly hit by the realization that if the power of his breathe-in vanished inside Grimm's body, then what happened to the elf's soul? Crack! Clenching his fists tight enough that the sound of his bones became audible, Rhea's body suddenly vanished. Asterisk bang! Asterisk! GYAH! Faster than his hyper-focus could keep up with, the now white-haired Rhea planted his fist deep into Grimm's stomach. Where is he? Rhea screamed as he launched Grimm's body through several stone walls and into a wide space. Flashing into the air above him, a murderous glow surfaced in his eyes as he rained down his hatred and fury. Imitation magic, dark magic, lightless slash plus imitation magic, light swords of judgment. Shit. Scrambling to his feet, Grimm took to the air, barely managing to avoid the long-ranged dark and light magic ranged attacks. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Shit. 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 How the hell did he get faster? And why is he now able to use more than one magic at a time? Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Argh. Just managing to evade one of the lightless slashes, blood started to pour out of a small wound on his arm. He actually got me. What did you do to him? Rhea screamed uncharacteristically as he flashed in front of Grimm again and grabbed him by the throat. Where is he? Holy shit, this guy might actually kill me at this rate. Clench. Feeling Rhea's grip get tighter, a flash of malice crossed Grimm's eyes as he grabbed onto both of Rhea's shoulders and grinned. Rengoku bitch. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Releasing the spell at such close range, causing the explosion to be powerful enough that it violently threw Grimm backwards. Cough cough. Fuck, that bastard suddenly got a whole lot stronger out of nowhere. No. I refuse to believe that a guy who was almost killed by my hands can beat me like this. Climbing to his feet, Grimm's mana exploded out of his body as he had had enough of getting his ass beat. If my hyper-focus can't keep up with him at this level, then I'll forcibly evolve it and surpass my limits. While Ryu used light magic to heal from Grimm's surprise attack, Grimm closed his eyes and started controlling his breathing. Emptying his mind and tapping into his senses, he recalled back to the time he sat inside Mereoleona's mana zone attack. I need to be more attuned to my surroundings. Sense the attacks before they even arrive. Hone my senses until they become sharp enough to asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Dodge something even faster than light. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Moving his head to the side and dodging Rya's spatial magic plus light magic attack that zoomed past his ear and exploded in the distance, a dark smile formed on Grimm's face as his eyes slowly opened. You're so fucked now. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. What? Using his Grimm-style unknowing fire to break the ground beneath his feet and flash into the air at an astonishing speed, he raised his sword high into the air and mercilessly slashed down at Rya's head. Die. He laughed, feeling his battle lust being stimulated and pushing him to break through his limits. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Seeing the blade approach his face, Rya used his imitation magic to copy Sally's gel magic and summon out the sticky salamander. Useless. Crazy cutting. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. He cut through my magic. Having never seen Grimm use these swords before, a brief look of shock gathered on Rya's face before quickly vanishing. Spreading his arms wide, multiple spatial portals appeared around Grimm. Imitation magic, light swords of judgment. Even if you can cut magic, you're not able to stop omnidirectional attacks moving faster than the speed of light. Now this would have worked if it hadn't been for him upgrading his hyper-focus and facing a similar omnidirectional attack from Mereoleona mere hours beforehand. So to the sight of these portals with light coming out of them, Grimm could only say one thing. Bring it on, you fucker. Heavy breathing. Okay, Huff, what the hell is this guy? No matter how much I attack him, it's like he knows where it's going to appear from beforehand. He wasn't like this when I was fighting before Patry activated the reincarnation spell. Don't tell me. Did he actually improve in that short amount of time? As he watched Grimm slowly gaining the upper hand, he couldn't help but be thankful over the fact that the boy would die here. At the rate he was improving, he'd become a real problem if he was allowed to grow any further. Just as Rhea was about to end things and vaporize Grimm, the sudden appearance of an elven rill breaking through the wall on top of several worm-like creatures stopped him. Lyra. Rhya. The elven rill cheered and jumped down to meet him and pulled him into a hug. Feeling the touch of his once dead comrade, Rhea couldn't help but laugh with joy as he hugged him back. You're as extreme as ever. Hee hee. Lyra chuckled before looking over at Grimm. You having trouble? Not really. I was just about to end things before you arrived. Ooh, that's so boring. Let me join in. Hat, knock yourself out. Taking control of those worms, this Lyra dude threw them into the magic barge mix and watched as they tore away at Grimm. Oh. Lyra raised an eyebrow. He's actually doing quite well. Rhea nodded as the two watched the speed Grimm had previously exhibited drop as more and more injuries accumulated on his body. Whoa! He's covered in his own blood. Yet, he's done now. Ah, I wanted to see him struggle more. Lyra whined with a disgusting smile smeared across his face. At least there are more humans that will join him soon. Yet. Rhea nodded. As the two watched Grimm's struggle slowly come to an end, that nagging feeling Rhea felt from the moment Grimm arrived started to flare up again. Why? We've got him clearly outmatched and outnumbered, so why does it feel like something has gone terribly wrong? Slash. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Kya. Slash. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Arg. Damn, this hurts. My hyper-focus has already been pushed to its limit and I'm starting to feel the backlash from overusing it. So why? Why is this the most fun I've had in such a long time? Despite the wounds appearing on his body, from the start till now, the smile on his face had never faltered for a single moment. More. He whispered enduring those attacks. I need more, I need some much more. Lyra made a weird face after hearing him. Looking over at Rhea, he asked. Did we hit him hard enough that he turned crazy? Who knows, but it's time to join the others, end this. Consider it done. Lyra grinned as one of his newly created worms opened its mouth filled with rows upon rows of sharp teeth and struck down at a powerless Grimm. Grimm's mindscape. Sitting in the mindscape, Grimm's original personality sat upon his dragon bone throne watching the fight take place as he spoke to darkness surrounding him. You feel it, don't you? Yet. Grimm's excited voice echoed in the emptiness as his overflowing battle intent filled the landscape. So why are you still playing around? Show them, Grimm grins. Show them why you are destined to be the strongest. Show them the power of reincarnation through blood. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Ugh. What the hell? As the battle was just about to come to a close, a sudden burst of golden light burst out of Grimm's body encompassing the entire room and forcing the two elves to cover their eyes. That boy. I knew he had a lot of mana, but this is just insane. No. It's not the amount of mana that he's releasing that's emitting such pressure. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Ugh. Feeling their hair and clothes being blown and ruffled violently by the pressure exuding from the center of the bright light, Rhea realized why he was feeling uncomfortable this entire time. His mana isn't growing in size. It's changing in quality. Could it be that the elf soul that went into his body is finally starting to emerge? Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. From the moment Grimm had arrived in this world, he wanted to win. But for the first time in his life, he started to wonder why he struggled so much to become the strongest. Why was it so important to him? All he's ever tried to do is be the strongest. But what was he before that? What was he when he was king? Was he the strongest? Or was he so weak that the desire to become the strongest had taken root in him? King Realm. To think you'd actually try to understand me while undergoing such a drastic change. Grimm. You certainly are one of my more interesting reincarnations. Inside the golden pillar of light, Grimm closed his eyes as the light around him started to fluctuate strangely. Closing his eyes, Grimm felt the wounds on his body to start sting as wisps of steam started escaping from them and the wounds started vanishing. The strongest. Yet. I wanna be the strongest. Who says I need a reason to become stronger than everyone else? I'll become stronger not because King told me to, I'll do it for myself. I'll become the strongest being this world will ever see. Elf? Human? Wizard King? Whatever. In front of my power none of them will matter. All shall fall before me. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. My powers have been growing exponentially for the past 6 years, but there was always that feeling that something was missing, like I was fighting with one arm tied behind my back. But with body. With this blood. With this magic. Clenching his fists, the golden light that encompassed the entire room started to grow violent as Grimm's voice could be heard. I will no longer be held back. Haa. His voice rang out causing the golden to pulse in and out of his body. What's going on? Is he trying to contain the elf power within his body? No. It's something different. The elven aura. It's being swallowed by something else. Feeling the elven blood in his body start to grow restless, Grimm could no longer contain it as both his magic and elven power started tearing his body apart. This power. I won't lose to it. Drawing the golden aura back into his body completely, the sound of miniature explosions sounded out from his body as the black in his hair started to rescind from the root and a beautiful shade of white so pure that it resembled snow took over. What the hell? Rhea gasped. But that wasn't the only change. Following the sudden color change to his hair, Grimm's eyes started to glow with a soft yellow light and his ears grew remarkably longer. Not too long after this change, the mana that had returned back to his body suddenly exploded out in droves. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. With a tremendous roar, a shimmering silver aura began to envelop Grimm's body. As the light expanded outwards, more and more shockwaves started being emitted from his body, making it harder for people to get closer to him. These shockwaves caused Rhea and Lyra to snap out of their stunned state and watch what was happening with clear eyes. And what they saw could only be described as beautiful. Snow-white hair, yellow eyes, long ears, and an aura so in touch with nature that it was clear how much Mana loved him. All these were traits of the elf race. He's an elf. Lyra muttered, trying to understand Grimm's change. Even Rhea was having a hard time understanding what just happened. The mana waves coming from him were undeniably elven, but the color of his aura clearly wasn't. Not to mention that his face lacked the marks of reincarnation. But why? Why does it feel like he was looking at one of his brethren? The power itself was elven, but its nature was completely different to his or any of the other reincarnated souls. Like something had been mixed into it. Altered it. This was Grimm's elven form. Creator's thoughts. Errata. So Grimm finally did it. After so many arcs and battles, we finally get to see Grimm using that sweet elven power. Chapter 129, Elven Form. Standing there with the silver aura pulsing around his body, Rhea and Lyra stood rooted to the ground as they watched with wide eyes at Grimm's sudden transformation. For the 500-plus-year-old elves, this would be a scene they would never forget. Raising his head slowly, Grimm looked at the two elves without any emotion in his eyes. To the current him, they were no longer worth his time. What the hell happened to this guy? Since he doesn't have the marks of reincarnation, I can tell that he isn't our comrade. But then where is this power coming from? And why does it look like I'm looking at one of my brethren? None of this makes sense. Arya. Lyra called out with a noticeable stammer in his voice. You feel it too, right? This guy. His power is a lot stronger than it was before. Yet. He nodded, looking quite troubled, noticing something else. It isn't just his power and appearance that's changed, this guy's whole vibe is completely different. It's like I'm not even looking at a human anymore. While the two of them were busy trying to figure out what had happened to Grimm, the man in question was focusing on understanding the changes in his body. Closing his eyes slightly, he felt a weird sensation coursing through his veins. Almost as if something had caused the blood in his body to start acting up. But more than that, he felt complete for the first time in his life. That feeling of only fighting at 50% had completely vanished. Like it wasn't even there to begin with. And weirdly enough, he felt completely comfortable with this power. Almost as if he had it all along. So this is what he meant when he said reincarnation through blood. Using the elven power within the captured elf's soul, King used it to stimulate and bring out the elf part of Grimm's blood and awaken his true potential. Whilst Grimm was growing accustomed to the changes in his body, Rhea had already figured out just what he really was. I didn't think it was possible, but that white hair, those ears, and those yellow eyes. You're a half-elf, aren't you? What? Lyra looked at him in disbelief. But that's impossible. No one else could have survived the humans' cowardly sneak attack on us. We were wiped out. I know. But look at him, Lyra. Even before he transformed, his eyes were yellow. The signature color of our people. And his mana reserves. No normal human could possibly have that much. So the only conclusion I can come up with is that he's part elf, a half-breed. He said the last part through grit teeth. A half-breed. Clenches fists, an elf mated with a human? A member of our glorious race joined bodies with one of those things that exterminated us like we were bugs. To do such a thing and produce this thing. I won't allow it. I'll wipe you and every single dirty human out of existence. You hear me, half-breed? Don't think just because you have our traits that you're one of us. Someone with dirty blood like yours doesn't have the right to call yourself a member of our race. Lyra. He was right, even if Grimm did possess their blood, his human part made it so that he would never be one of them. And even though he was curious as to where Grimm's lineage came from due to all the elves being wiped out, Ryu chalked it up to one of their clansmen mating with a human long before Licht was made their leader, and that Grimm was the product of a long lineage of half-elves breeding with humans. Half-breed. Grimm opened his glowing yellow eyes and sounded his words out slowly. Out of everything that you've said so far, the only thing you got correct was the fact that we're indeed not the same. You see. Flashes between the both of them. Compared to you guys places palms onto their chests, I really am just built different. Breath of Flames, 9th form, Rengoku. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Gyaha. As his flames blew a hole through each of their respected chests, time seemed to slow down as Grimm watched the two bodies by his side fall to his feet. Thud. Looking down at his hands that had just blasted their chests apart, a glow of silver radiance swirled around it. So this is what it feels like to be able to use 100% of my power. This increase in magical abilities. It's amazing. Clench his fist. With this power, I'm just as strong as Mirioliana. No. I've exceeded her. Cough cough. Looking down at the two elves, Grimm saw Ryu cough out a large mouthful of blood. Well, what did he expect to happen? In their normal states, Grimm was able to easily handle Ryu using hyper-focus. And despite Ryu transforming while he was still in his normal form, he was still able to survive the combined effort of both him and Lyra. So now that he had also transformed, wouldn't it make sense that since he could barely handle his normal form, why would a transformation that increased his magical abilities change anything? With such a large increase in magical power output, Grimm had no choice but to use the normal Breath of Flames instead of Breath of Blue Flames in fear of it killing the two of them. He even went so far as to scale back the power he put into the attack. Not to mention that without the use of his swords the spell would be considerably weaker. But even with all that in mind, to think that a causal Rengoku that he had intentionally weakened would be strong enough to put these two at death's doors. This form boosts my magical abilities to too high of an extent that all my spells have become astronomically more dangerous. How satisfying! Why cough cough, why are we still alive? Ryu wheezed out, trying his best to struggle through the pain. An injury like this is gonna take a while to heal, not to mention I'm gonna need to heal Lyra as well. Damn it! To think we'd have to face off against a monster like this. The power of an elf with the nature of a human. I'd rather go up against that anti-magic kid instead. Crouching down and materializing a single beast sword into his hand, Grimm casually said, I need answers. Tell me the next part of Patry's plan. Hat. Ryu chuckled despite feeling like his organs were on fire. I won't tell you anything. As if I'd let a wild card like this get the opportunity to mess with Patry and the others. Is that so? Grimm smiled innocently as he raised the sword high into the air before ruthlessly stabbing it down into Ryu's thighs. Arg! He screamed and laughed at the same time. Do what you want to me. I won't tell you anything. Oh, I know. What? I didn't expect you to tell me anything from the start. Stabbing you was just for fun on my part. Staring at him maliciously, Ryu grit his teeth. Ignoring him, Grimm pulled the blade out of his thigh and pointed to the collapsed Lyra. Hey Ryu, you've watched your comrades die before, right? What? No. He couldn't be thinking of. How would it feel to see it happen all over again? You heard me right? Since you won't tell me anything, it looks like I'll have to go around rounding up the members of your clan and bring them back here for you to witness their final moments. Now that I think about it, I'm actually kind of jealous. I'll never be able to kill the same person twice, but you'll be able to watch them die a second time. Fuck, I can't even imagine how that would feel. Watching the people you fought so hard to bring back die in front of you again. Damn, that actually sounds like fun. Let's start with the one in Ril's body. What are you saying? Maybe I should torture him first, kill him and then go find another elf and rinse and repeat. What do you say, Ryu? He looked at him playfully. How much elves do you think will have to die in front of you before you crack? My mind is saying 5 but my heart is saying 3. Why you can't do that? Ryu protested. Oh? And why is that? Grimm raised an eyebrow. If you hurt him you'll be hurting your comrade as well. Hey! Your comrades aren't gone. They're just being suppressed by the souls of my brethren. They're essentially still in there. If you kill him you'll be killing your magic knight friends. A/N, pft. He said friend. LOL, Ryu really doesn't know anything. So if I torture the guy inhabiting Ril's body, I'll be hurting Ril too. Yes. Ryu nodded. I won't answer your questions and you can't use Lyra to threaten me or else your friend dies as well. I don't care if you're stronger than us, you won't get your way. Thinking that everything would work out for them, Ryu didn't expect that Grimm's next sentence would throw cold water all over his celebration. I didn't think that the first captain I killed would turn out like this. Oh well, a captain's a captain. What? Raises sword. Wait. Ryu panicked seeing Grimm about to poke Lyra with his sword. He's your comrade. If Lyra gets hurt your friend gets hurt too. So? What do you mean so? Don't you care if your comrade dies? Compared to the look you'll have on your face when you see me slit this guy's throat. I'd say it's a good trade. This guy. He isn't lying. Using his innate lie detector ability, Ryu was terrified to find out that Grimm meant every word of what he said. But just before he could say anything, the left side of the room suddenly exploded open as 3 elves with angel-like wings on their backs came flying in. Where are we? I thought I sensed Ryu and Lyra's man. RHYA. One of the elves screamed seeing Ryu and Lyra lying on the floor with holes in their chests. Oh. Grimm raised his head to look at the newly arrived elves. Looks back at Ryu and grins. More playmates. This guy. I have to stop him before he kills everyone. Knowing that there was only one person in the entire base that could stand up to Grimm's current power, Ryu grit his teeth and while Grimm was distracted by the 3 new elves, he used his imitation magic to open up a portal beneath Grimm's feet. Hey! Realizing what Ryu was planning, Grimm was about to use his beast magic to shred the spatial magic to pieces. But then he suddenly stopped and looked at Ryu with a terrifying grin as he slowly descended into the portal. Looking at Lyra, the 3 flying elves and then back at Ryu, Grimm left behind a single yet soul-shaking sentence behind. Let the hunt begin. Creator's thoughts. Errata. Damn, I feel sorry for Ryu. Even though he sent him away, he knows Grimm will hunt him and all the other elves down. How terrifying is that knowledge? No wonder Grimm allowed the spatial magic to take him, this is just a game to him. Kinda like the thing in the movie It Follows. Chapter 130, Elf on Elf Crime. KL. AUS. Hamunday. Crucified up on a steel cross with her arms spread wide, a tired and beaten-looking Mimosa looked on her elf reincarnated companions. Humph. Filthy royalty. Elf Claw spat with disgust. What happened to these guys? Their magic and personality. It's like they're completely different people, and you know. Whatever happened to them seems to be happening to him as well. But the biggest threat still seems to be the individual floating in the air. Licht. It's good to see you again. Elf Haman said in an almost sobbing state as he looked at Licht's levitating figure. It's okay. Elf Klaus placed his hand on his shoulder and also looked up at Licht. He's just asleep for the moment, we'll all be together again once he wakes up. Elf Haman nodded. Speaking of waking up. Looks at Yuno. It seems he is still not aware of himself yet. So it seems. But he'll be with us in time. For now we should focus on wiping out these humans before their kind spreads any further. This is bad. I don't know what happened to them but, I think a lot of people are going to get hurt if I don't stop these 2. I just need to figure out how to get off of this cross. Mimosa, you can do this. Closing her eyes and taking a deep breath, Mimosa grit her teeth as she prepared to activate her magic. Even if she was in front of these 2, there was no way she'd be taken out so easily. Breathes in. Breathes out. What is that thing Grimm's always saying? Breathes in. Breathes out. Go further beyond. Breathes in. Breathes out. Push yourself to the edge. Breathes in. Breathes out. And once you're there. Breathes in. Breathes out. Surpass your limit. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Hey. Seconds before she broke her limits, the sound of a heavy object falling from the sky and crashing into the ground with enough force to create a large dust cloud sounded out as Elf Klaus and Haman started coughing violently while waving away the dust in the face. So this is where he sent me. A voice echoed out from the center on the dust cloud. This voice. From 5 elves down to 2. Number 3. Number 4. If it weren't for that one levitating in the air, I'd say he sent you guys to the slaughter. The voice laughed aloud. Breath of wind. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Using his magic, Grimm cleared away all the dust and revealed himself to the others. Grimm. Mimosa gasped seeing him. but quickly calmed down. No. That's not Grim. Grim's hair is black and... Yo Mimosa. Grim waved, finally taking notice of her. Looking pretty biblical. Grim. Who else? He grinned. But your hair. It's white. And your eyes are glowing. Not to mention your mana. You forgot to mention my ears. Your ears? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Obviously they're... Touch his ear. Why aren't they long anymore? No. I can still feel that they're a bit pointy. But the length has returned to what it was in my normal form. Does this mean my transformation finally ended? And your face? Mimosa stared at him with a serious expression before suddenly blushing. What's wrong with my face? It's becoming more handsome. What? After saying what she said, the whole of Mimosa's face turned bright red as if someone had lit it up. It's become more handsome. I think one of my fractured memories from Earth mentioned that elves were naturally beautiful creatures by human standards. But could transforming really change my appearance that much? I mean, my face should still be the same, right? Maybe my form just makes humans perceive me differently. Now that I think about it, couldn't I get the other half of the noble ladies in the capital if that's the case? While Grim was busy conversing with Mimosa, Elf Klaus and Haman were trying to understand who this person in front of them was. He clearly felt like an elf, but something was telling them that he wasn't one of them. Who are you? Klaus yelled. State your name and... Shut up. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. What the hell is this pressure? Forced onto their knees by Grim's killing intent, the two elves found themselves sweating bullets as they struggled to stand up. But right as they were about to struggle even more, every elf in the base was sent a mental message via one of their comrades' magic spells. This voice. It's RHYA. Listen up everyone. If you run into someone with white hair and glowing eyes who doesn't bear the mark of reincarnation, run. He's not one of us. He's a half-breed between human and elf. I repeat. Do not fight him. Stay out of his way and let. Before he could finish his sentence, the message suddenly got cut. Rhea and the other elves. Sorry to erupt, but... Release flame magic. I've got to clean you guys up. Womirioliana. There's 5 of them. Asta gasped, walking into the room with Zora next to him. Half-breed. For some reason, hearing that a member of their race had mixed with a member of the race that exterminated infuriated both Haman and Klaus to the point that they were able to stand to their feet despite Grim's overwhelming pressure. HOH. Grim raised a brow. Half-breed, 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 half-breed. Klaus roared, which caused Grim to be slightly surprised. But while Elf Klaus was screaming like a madman, no one noticed that the floating Licht's hand moved slightly every time the word half-breed was said. Almost like he was having a reaction. You know who I am. Grim laughed. Ha, so you had a way to communicate with you guys, hey? Well, that makes things easier. Breath of the beast. It's only suitable that I use this magic to hunt you guys. Die, you filthy mutt. Klaus screamed as he and Haman fired off their steel and glass magic. Crazy cutting. Slash slash slash. What? Our attacks? He cut them. Yo Mimosa. Grim called out without turning back. How long you gonna stay up there? What do you mea? Shatter. Before she could go any further, the shackles restraining her to the cross suddenly shattered, causing her to free herself and land behind Grim. Took you long enough. He grinned, ramping his mana up even further. How did he? But he was attacking Klaus and Ham. Don't tell me he managed to cut my restraints while also fending off the 2 of them. But that should be impossible. To split his attention like that while fighting against 2 enhanced magic knights capable of joining the Royal Knights. That shouldn't be possible even for Grim. Don't think about it too much. Grim's voice snapped her out of her confused state. Looks up at the floating Licht. And besides, if something like that is enough to scare you, what happens next might kill you. Now if you can excuse me, I've got some prey to hunt. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Fast. Defend. Klaus yelled as he brought up a giant steel shield. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. He cut through it. Peekaboo. Glass creation magic, Verfleur. Throwing his hands up into the air, Elf Haman created a series of sharp glasses that shot up from the ground. Don't get cocky, you filthy half-breed. It was just too bad that with hyper-focus and his enhanced senses boosted by his breath of the beast base, these glass shards would never touch him. Crazy cutting. Activating this spell again, every shard of glass that had risen out of the ground was immediately shattered. Retreat! Klaus yelled as the two of them jumped back. Don't run. We're just getting started. Grimm laughed maniacally as he thoroughly enjoyed himself. Breath of the beast, sudden throwing strike. Just as he was about to summon another steel shield, Haman grabbed onto him and jumped out of the way while yelling. Those swords ignore defense. Focus on evasion. Ha, so you figured that out. Noticing that the two of them had created some distance between him and them, Grimm was about to go at them again but suddenly stopped. I can go faster than this. Yeah, I couldn't feel it before while I was in my human form, but in this state, I might be able to access more parts of my magic without needing outside stimuli. Closing his eyes and recalling the feeling of when he first attained Breath of the Beast all those years ago, Grimm felt something in his magic change as his grimoire started pulsing with energy. What's he doing? Haman asked, confused over the fact that Grimm was no longer chasing them. Who cares? Kill that dirty half-breed while he's distracted. Nodding his head, the two elves fired off two high-class magic spells at the motionless Grimm. Grimm! Mimosa screamed. Feeling his eyes snap open, time seemed to slow down around him as he felt his body ripple with power. Lowering his center of gravity slightly, Grimm felt the muscles in his body tense as his grimoire released a bright grey light. Breath of the Beast, 8th form, explosive rush. Creator's thoughts. Errata. I like how Grimm basically ignored this entire chapter. Like my guy didn't even enter his eyes. And shout out to Mirioliana for interrupting Ryu's speech. If only she could see Grimm now. Chapter 131, Bypass. It all happened so fast. 1 second he was there, and then the next thing they knew they had a sword centimeters away from slicing through their faces. If not for him suddenly stopping and jumping back in retreat, it was likely that the two elves would have met their end there and then. Weary alive. Elf Klaus gasped with a tired sense of relief as he held onto his face and started hyperventilating. Shuddering at the fact that they almost died for the second time, the elf souls within the two of them started to feel extremely uncomfortable in their new bodies. Grimm! Mimosa called, seeing him suddenly jump back and land in front of her. Ignoring her call, his grip on his beast swords tightened as he looked up at the floating Licht. That feeling just now. What the hell was that? Moments before his swords could cleave through Klaus and Haman, Grimm felt like lock onto him. To make me subconsciously jump back without moving a muscle, and to do so despite being in my elf form. You're exactly what I'm looking for. Ha! Ha! Ha 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 hey ha 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 ha. Grimm! Mimosa called out again, not understanding the situation. Great! He laughed loudly as the mana around his swords grew sharper. Contrary to expectation, instead of being infuriated or unnerved, the feeling Grimm was experiencing right now was unbridled joy. Joy he hadn't felt since he first fought Mirioliana during their trip to the hot springs. But even then Mirioliana didn't have the ability to subconsciously make him retreat. To face someone with that kind of presence. Could anything be better? He's trembling. Mimosa noted, seeing him standing still while laughing without concern. What's going on? Could it be he retreated because they were too strong? No. She refused to believe that. He was toying with them moments ago, no way they'd suddenly become strong enough to bridge the gap in power in mere seconds. And even if they did, I don't see Grimm retreating due to that. No. There must be something else that I'm missing. That mana. Feeling her eyes go wide, Mimosa suddenly felt her chest tighten as a wisp of fluctuating mana escaped from the floating elf leader. Oh! Grimm said with a massive grin on his face before looking at the two trembling elves. So that's how I get your attention. Lowering his stance and planting his feet on the ground solidly, a wave of excitement and bloodlust burst out of Grimm's body as he took a moment to understand his new spell. Explosive rush at? Speed-wise it's not as fast as unknowing fire, but since I'm using Breath of the Beast as my base, not only did my body become accustomed to it much faster than other spells, but I can feel that my agility isn't affected either. Unlike with unknowing fire that shoots me forward in a straight line, I might actually be able to maneuver with this one. Grins. Let's push the boundary a little, shall we? Seeing the look of excitement on Grimm's face, the two elves in Klaus and Haman's body couldn't help but feel like things had suddenly gotten worse for them. This feeling, What is this? Looks down at trembling hand. This body, why is it so terrified? No. It's not just this body that's refusing to move, even my magic isn't responding to me. To use magic isn't a physical thing, does that mean that I'm the problem here? Could it be, that I'm feeling unnerved? No, it's more than just that. I don't know why this body is reacting so violently to that smile, but to think that it's affecting my psyche as well. Could being seconds away from death moments ago be causing my mind to be thrown into turmoil? I am scared of a half-breed. No. I refuse to accept that. I am just not used to this body yet. Yes. That's what it is. I'm. Breath of the Beast, 8th form Grim style, explosive rush. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Seeing Grim's figure about to reach him, Elf Klaus regretted the fact that he didn't take Rhea's warning more seriously. My body still won't move. Sigh, at least it's better than dying to the hands of a full-blown human. Resigning himself to his fate, Klaus closed his eyes and accepted that he had lost. Yeah, this isn't the worst way to go. And besides, I got to see you again, Licht. Despite being moments away from his death, a small smile managed to crawl its way onto his face as he faced death without a shred of fear. Die. Grim grinned as he slashed his sword down. So you finally move, hey? What? Hearing Grim's voice but not feeling any pain, the death-accepting Elf Klaus peeked out with one eye before both quickly snapped opened. Licht. Standing in front of him and defending against Grim's slash with a shiny silver sword was none other than the leader of their people, Licht. Is that really you? Overrun by emotion from nearly dying again and now seeing his leader come out to protect him, the mental fatigue he endured within the past 5 minutes was enough to last a lifetime as tears started to stream down his face. Grim on the other hand could care less about how he was feeling and was more focused on the sword in Licht's hand. I can't cut through it. Interesting. Feeling his started to boil, adrenaline started to course through Grim's veins as he released his mana outwards. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Whoa. Blown back by Licht releasing some of the magic in his sword, Grim was sent flying backwards with explosive might. Ha 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 ha. He laughed as he stabbed his sword in the ground to slow his backwards momentum. Now it's a par. What the hell? Not allowing him to finish his sentence, the silent Licht somehow appeared in front in a way that was completely incomprehensible. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Erg. Barely managing to escape in time, the ground where he stood had previously exploded into pieces as if it had endured countless sword cuts. What the fuck was that? His ki and magic completely disappeared. Appearing behind him using the same technique as before, Licht raised his sword high into the air and slashed down again. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Arg. Raising his beast swords above his head, Grim managed to block the swing, but upon contact with each other Licht released the magic power stored in the sword, tearing Grim's apart and sending hurling towards the ground. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Landing hard enough to create a crater in the ground, Grim felt the bones in his body rattle as he crawled up to his feet. Cough cough. Okay, seriously, what the fuck? Forget moving fast, that was something completely different. Even if he was moving fast, my hyper-focus would sense him the moment he stopped moving. After fighting with Rhea back in his human form, Grim had learnt that even if his hyper-focus couldn't keep up with a person, he would still be able to sense them to a degree. So even if they sneaked up on him after outpacing him, he'd still sense them even if he couldn't stop them. Even a teleporter wouldn't be able to outdo him in this regard. But this guy was something else. Whatever technique he used didn't utilize mana and completely hid his ki. It was almost like he was integrating himself into the natural mana around him, thus bypassing his hyper-focus. Ha! This might actually be a more fun than I thought. Creator's thoughts. Errata. So I'm playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition at the moment, and as I am partway through Mass Effect 3, all I can say is goddamn, this game is amazing. I never understood the hype for this game in the past, but I gotta say, depending on the game's ending, this might just be the perfect game trilogy ever. Like holy shit, this game actually makes war feel raw as fuck. Not like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or even Halo. Politics actually play a role like in a real war, and there are actual consequences to your actions. And don't even get me started on Shepard, the fact that he's just a soldier, nothing special, makes the game 100x better. No super suit, special powers / abilities, just a soldier on a mission with the best crew in the galaxy. I don't know how this is gonna end, but I can finally see why this game is seen as a classic. Number Miranda Lawson. Number Taylai for the win. Number Cult of Shepherd. Sorry for geeking out, this game is just that good. Games nowadays have really fallen in comparison. Chapter 132, One Sword. 8-layered mist. Heat lightning. Sudden throwing strike. Rengoku. Unleashing more and more devastating long-ranged attacks from the air, the area below Grimm and Licht had been completely destroyed as Mimosa, and the two elves inhabiting Klaus and Hamon's bodies barely survived due to Grimm focusing his attention on Licht. This power. Just how strong have you gotten, Grimm? Watching the battle from below while also doing her best to take care of the unconscious Mimosa was in awe of Grimm's sudden jump in magical power. Compared to the last time she saw him fight in the Royal Knight exam, his current power easily eclipsed anything she had seen before. Swoosh. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Agilely flying through the air with only one sword in his hand, Licht effortlessly avoided getting hit by Grimm's attacks and easily closed the gap between them by using that weird melding with mana technique that bypassed his hyper-focus to appear in front of him. That being said, throughout the entirety of the battle Grimm had noticed a polarizing fact about the way Licht fought. He has no long-range abilities. It was unknown if it was due to him not using a grimoire or just the limited capabilities of the sword he was using, but every time the two engaged in combat Licht would always do so from a melee range. Grins. So that's it. Knowing that he couldn't use any long-ranged attacks in the battle, Grimm decided to stop using his own ranged abilities in order to put the two on equal ground. Now while this may be foolish to others, in Grimm's perspective it was way more fun to crush an opponent while fighting on their terms. Using Explosive Rush, Grimm flashed in front of the elf leader and raised his beast swords high into the air. Crazy Cutting. Slashing the swords downwards, the grey aura blades around Grimm's figure worked in union with his swords as they all aimed to tear Licht into pieces. Leader of the elves. Melding with mana? Swordsmanship? Who gives a fuck about that shit? If you can't withstand something like this, then you're no different from trash I meet every day. With the magical power enhancement from his elven form, the current speed and cutting power of Crazy Cutting was off the charts. Die for me. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Watching the beast swords and aura blades approaching him, Licht remained emotionless as he slowly tilted his body to the side and started dodging the blades by a hair breadth. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Ha. Ha. He's even able to dodge something as fast as this. This guy's insane. Feeling more and more motivated by the second, the ferocity within Grimm's attacks skyrocketed as he was becoming determined to at the very least cut Licht's clothes. Unfortunately for him, Licht wasn't a passive fighter that he could test his abilities on. While dodging Grimm's insane attacks, Licht abruptly swung his sword upwards. Ting! Hey! Lowering it again, the sound of steel striking against steel reverberated throughout the entire area. Did he just parry my sword? Staring at him without blinking, Licht kept dodging while occasionally parrying Grimm's sword strikes until eventually. Ting! 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 He figured out the timing. Asterisk ting! Asterisk! Asterisk ting! Asterisk! Asterisk ting! Asterisk! He's matching the speed of my Crazy Cutting. Only using a single sword and not utilizing a single spell, this person was capable of contending with one of Grimm's most dangerous attacks without breaking a sweat. Amazing, right? No. For the first time since being reincarnated in this world, Grimm experienced a feeling he didn't know was possible for him. Humiliation. How dare you? Asterisk ting. Asterisk. Yummy. How dare you? Asterisk ting. Asterisk. Mirioliana. How dare you? Rie. How fucking dare you? Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Since reincarnating into this world, Grimm had faced countless opponents who were stronger than him. He stood up to Yami's dark cloak dimension slash, withstood Mirioliana's mana zone and used hyper-focus to contend with Ryu despite Ryu being stronger than him. In every fight he had with an opponent who was stronger than him, he had forced them to use a powerful spell that would kill lesser mages. But now you're telling him that despite facing such strong people, a person using a single sword and nothing else was capable of pushing him this far? What kind of bullshit was that? Unlocking spells, being beaten senseless and achieving his elven form. Are you really telling me that that isn't enough? No. I'm strong. I'm really fucking strong. I can't lose. After everything I went through to get here. I won't lose. A/N, he's losing it, people. Unleashing his mana outwards with enough force that everyone in the entire base felt it, Grimm's attacks started to become more brutal and violent as he stopped playing around. Rip and tear. Rising scorching sun. Claws purifying wind. Constant flux. Flowing dance. Thunder swarm. Losing his rationality, Grimm started to barrage the elf with a bombardment of spells as he slowly broke his limit and unleashed a new spell his grimoire had manifested after surviving the pummeling of Mirioliana's mana zone attack. Slashing upwards with rising scorching sun, the blue flames on his sword started burning brightly as he slashed down. Breath of blue flames, third form, blazing universe. A/N, this form was only introduced in the movie, so I had to fit it in here somehow. I won't lose. I won't lose. I won't lose. With that single thought driving him, Grimm gave into his base instincts. Watching the world lose its color around him, the only thing in his sights was the emotionless-looking Licht. Dodging his outburst of attacks, Licht used that melding with mana technique to bypass Grimm's hyper-focus, closing the gap between again. */ Arg. Feeling his bones almost shatter from being hit by Licht's sword, Grimm grit his teeth and swung around to slash at him. But just like before, he used his mana melding technique to vanish and strike at him again. Arg. Slash. */ Enough. Boom. Vanishing from sight once again, Grimm felt his entire body racked in pain as he pushed his hyper-focus to the limit. Not enough. It's not enough. Switching to his most comfortable breath of the beast, Grimm hoped that using his beast senses and hyper-focus would be enough to locate Licht before he could attack. Too bad his thinking was too idealistic. */ Arg. Popping up behind him, Licht struck him once more. There. Feeling as if he felt something, he quickly spun around and slashed at empty air. Unfortunately for him, Licht appeared at his side and used reinforcement magic to kick him in the ribs and send him flying into one of the base's walls. Grimm. Watching all this take place from below, Mimosa subconsciously covered her mouth as she watched the blood run down Grimm's head and cover his face. Even from down here she could see just how injured he was. He's going to kill him. Feeling something grip her heart, she ran over to Yuno's side and started to violently shake him. Yuno, wake up. Yuno, please. I need you. So please. Please save him. With tears streaming down her face, the young royal begged and begged for someone to save Grimm as Licht began to stomp down on him. Picking him up by the neck, Licht looked at the bloodied Grimm with his emotionless eyes and eventually let go. King Realm. Damn, and I thought Asta got fucked up when he fought him alongside Yuno. Sigh. I guess it was still a little too early for him to fight against the leader of the elves. Landing heavily on the ground, the sound of Mimosa's begging managed to find its way into Grimm's ears as he barely held onto his consciousness. Struggling to raise his head, he saw his grimoire laying in front of him. Having lost its luster from before, Grimm couldn't help but laugh despite the pain. Hey grimoire! I just got fucked up, isn't this the moment you're supposed to give me some bullshit spell to help me out? Not this time, eh? Cough cough fuck. Not only did I lose to some bastard who didn't use a single spell, now I have a girl begging for someone to save me. How far I've fallen. Still nothing. Sigh, how embarrassing. Oakman. You're really just gonna sit there? After all that? Really? What am I doing? I'm talking to my grimoire like a loser. Hey. Looking over to his book of spells, the grimoire started glowing grey and opened up to a blank page. Ha. So I didn't get the shit kicked out of me for nothing. Laughing to himself, his previous crushed pride started to crawl out of the dirt. Now show me what I got. I'll fuck that piece of shit up once you do. Breath of the Beast, 7th form, spatial awareness. Fuck. Creator's thoughts. Errata. Chapter was basically Grimm getting the kicked out of him while also showcasing how his mentality is a little too warped. It's also the fact that Licht did all this while basically being asleep. Now the question is, will Grimm grow from this ass-whoopin'? Chapter 133, Don't Call It a Comeback. Clinging to what little consciousness he had left, Grimm forced his broken body to its feet. Feeling his body scream at him to stop, he grit his teeth and stood up straight. Barely managing to stand properly, he opened his mouth and inhaled deeply. Trudging forward slightly, he picked up his grimoire and looked up at the levitating Licht, who also happened to be looking down at him with lifeless eyes. Clenching his fists tightly, he did his best to calm the urge to go back up and fight. One sword, no grimoire or spells. To think there was such an absurd opponent out there who could do this to me. Humiliated? Yet, for the first time in his life, Grimm had felt what it was like to face humiliation. But there was more than that. Something deeper. Something that's stronger. Against such an enemy, the only emotion that could overshadow this feeling of humiliation was none other than inspiration. One sword and no spells? How could he not be inspired? He knew his own power well, and with this elven power boosting it even further, the fact that was someone out there who could deal with him at this level without casting a single spell was awe-inspiring. Imagine being so strong that all you needed was a sword to beat someone whose strength rivaled/exceeded a captain's. Instead of representing an insurmountable wall, Licht had just become a new benchmark of power that had entered Grimm's crosshairs. Ha, ha, ha 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 ha. Suddenly bursting into a fit of uncontrollable laughter, Grimm ignored the pain in his body as his mana started fluctuating violently. Hearing his laughter, Mimosa paused her attempt to wake Yuno up to look back at the now standing Grimm, who was slowly levitating upwards. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Grimm. Mimosa whispered upon seeing the look in his eyes. This pain. It hurts so bad, but it isn't enough to stop me. Shooting forward using unknowing fire, he appeared in front of the emotionless Licht and struck down. */ Watching the blade draw closer to face, Licht made use of the melding with mana technique to vanish and appear at his side. Grimm! Mimosa screamed, seeing Licht's sword aimed towards Grimm's head. *clash. Suddenly lifting his sword upwards, Grimm's sword locked with Licht's. Ha 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 ha. Continuing to laugh, he used reinforcement magic on his arms to force Licht backwards and charge at him. Looking at him with those same emotionless eyes, Licht made use of the mana melding technique to ambush him again. Hyper-focus plus spatial awareness plus beast instincts. Combining all three moves together, Grimm was able to sense the slight vibrations in the air Licht made whenever he disengaged his mana melding technique. Using spatial awareness, he was able to find where Licht was once he stopped using the mana melding technique. Using hyper-focus and his natural beast senses from his breath of the beast base, he was able to react fast enough to the point that he was just barely able to block and counter-attack. *ting. 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 Losing himself to the feeling of the battle, Grimm was somehow able to evade some of Licht's attacks while also being able to strike back. That being said, it wasn't like he was able to actually touch Licht. If anything, the only thing that had changed was that he wasn't getting hurt as often. It was unknown whether it was due to his own will or the clear adrenaline rush, but he was able to ignore the pain and fight with a smile on his face. Dodging left and right, he switched breath styles so fluently that his attacks were starting to blend together. What is this? Watching Grimm fight from her standing with Yuno, Mimosa's eyes shone with awe as her heart started to palpitate. So handsome! She muttered. Seeing the guy she liked losing himself to something he loved doing, words were unable to describe just how she was feeling. In truth, even Grimm didn't know what he was feeling. Right now the only thing in his mind was the urge to swing his swords. The strongest elf. He certainly lived up to the hype. *bang. Locking swords with him once again, the smile on Grimm's face grew so wide that it looked like it was about to tear off. Crazy cutting. Switching attack methods, Grimm bombarded him with sharp slashes while also weaving in some other attacks in. Blazing universe. Scorching rising sun. Flowing dance. Incredible. Elf Klaus and Haman muttered upon witnessing the sight above them. We need to help him. Nods. Opening their grimoires, both shot their magics at the focused Grimm. No, you don't. Hey! As if on cue, a falling Asta appeared out of God knows where, and using his demon slayer sword he deflected the attacks right back at them. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asta. Mimosa gasped. Yo. He grinned seeing that she was okay. After what felt like a couple of minutes, finally woke up and with the help of Black Asta, they both defeated the combined magic of Elf Klaus and Haman. Whew. Asta exhaled as he wiped a bead of sweat off his forehead. Why you did it? Mimosa cheered. Of course. Asta smiled and patted Yuno's back. No way someone could beat me and when we're working together. Right Instead of answering, was frowning as he stared up at the battle raging above them. Oh right. Asta said realizing that a fight was still going on. Who is that? Hey. The two Golden Dawn members looked at him with confusion. He seems pretty strong. Asta nodded. Though I don't remember him from the Royal Knight exam. Seeing Grimm's torn up outfit, he naturally assumed that he had gotten here due to passing the exam and that the robe had ended up in such a state due to the battle. That's Grimm. Mimosa said seriously. No it's not. He laughed. Grimm has black hair. Asta. Suddenly spoke up realizing that his childhood friend truly didn't recognize a squad member that he had known for over 6 months. Your hair changes color when you use this form. You're right. Asta suddenly gasped realizing that it was in fact Grimm up there. Why'd his hair turn white though? Is that really what you want to ask right now? Chastised. I guess not. He said getting into a battle stance. Let's give him a hand. Nodding his head, also prepared to help out as the two shot into the air. But before they got a chance to help out, Grimm's voice filled with oppressive might slammed into them. Fuck off. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Clashing with Licht again, a wave of uncontrollable mana burst out of the two of them forcing Asta, and Mimosa back. Don't you dare ruin my fun. Unfortunately for him, everyone had a limit. And Grimm had naturally reached his. With his body in such a state, it didn't take long for Licht to gain the upper hand and kick his half-elf opponent to the side. Grimm! Asta screamed as both he and ignored his previous words and charged towards the elf leader. What followed next was a fight that concluded with Asta getting his demon dweller sword taken from him by Licht and him, and Mimosa being blasted out of the base after Licht absorbed and condensed spirit storm spell and redirecting back at them. By the end of it all, a huge hole had appeared in the base with no sign of Asta, or Mimosa seen anywhere. Only an unconscious Grimm lay in a set of rubble on the floor as Elf Luck, and a couple others appeared in the room. Creator's thoughts. Errata. Too bad Grimm didn't break his limits there and then. Chapter 134, Saying Goodbye. King Realm. I've seen many things Grimm. I've seen ninjas using their hands to throw gang signs at each other, transcendent souls turn into butterflies with a weird eye vaginas on their foreheads and pink-haired male historical figures that were cuter than 99% of the female population that it made me question my sexuality at one point. Now you're probably wondering why I'm telling you all this, right? Well, my point is I've seen shit. A lot of shit. Some of that shit was my doing, sometimes it was just there for me to clean up. Sometimes things are fucked, sometimes they aren't. But never in any of my previous lives did I say what you just said. 5 minutes earlier. Spits out blood. Ha, is that all you've got, you bitch-ass chicken fucker? Laughing at the wounds on his body, Grimm sat tied up on a chair facing Rhea and the elf-turned magic knights who were standing in front of him. Having taken his grimoire away leaving him unable to use any of his spells, he was forced to take a beating from Rhea and the others before being healed and repeating the cycle. Apparently it was a good way to pass the time. I'll admit, kid, you've got guts. Rhea complimented using his light magic to heal Grimm's wounds. But don't think for a second that you're gonna get out of this in one piece. If it wasn't for Licht not wanting to kill you, do you honestly think you'd still be breathing right now? Who knows? Grimm shrugged, not taking the beating seriously. Sigh. What is with this kid? I know Licht doesn't want us to kill him, but he's seriously aggravating. No matter how much magic we hit him with, he keeps smiling. Noticing that there was still a few minutes until they would reach the capital, he nodded to the elf inhabiting Luck's body. Your turn next, Lufulu. Finally. He laughed joyfully as sparks of blue lightning danced across his hand. Oh. Grimm raised his eyebrow when he saw Luck's figure arrive in front of him. Try to do better than the last guy, will ya? This is starting to becoming boring. Ha 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 ha. Lufulu laughed as he placed his hands on both sides of Grimm's head. I just need to make sure he doesn't die, right? He looked at Ryu. Yet. He nodded. Since Licht didn't kill him, it's likely that he doesn't want him dead yet. Gotcha. Crackle. Manifesting his lightning magic, on his palms, he sent a current directly into Grimm's body. Grimm screamed as laughter started escaping out of his mouth. Ha 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 ha. Hearing him laughing at his efforts, an unexplainable expression crossed Lufulo's face as he ramped to voltage up even higher. Arg ha 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 ha. More. What is wrong with this kid? Watching the light show from a safe distance, the elves couldn't help but wonder what this kid's problem was. Despite torturing him with many different types of magic, he always took it in stride and even looked like he was enjoying it to a degree. This led them to feel like something wasn't right. And if it was up to them, they would kill him this very instance. That's enough, Lufulo. Ryu suddenly stopped him. Any more and you'll actually kill him. TCH. Looking at Grimm's sizzling body, he probably would have backed off it wasn't for that mocking smile Grimm was flashing his way. Lightning magic, thunder arrow. Manifesting a solid arrow made from pure lightning magic, Grimm had a flashback to the Royal Knight exam. I see. So if the lightning user is strong enough, they can fire off the spell without the help of others. During the Royal Knight exam, when fighting against Ril, Luck, Klaus, and the fat woman with wing magic from the Blue Rose Squad joined their magic together to create the thunder arrow. But here was someone using Luck's body to do the exact same thing but by themselves. The gap between this guy and Luck was way too large. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Gyaha. Lufulo. Ryu screamed seeing the thunder arrow lodged into Grimm's chest. Pulling him back, he rushed to Grimm's side and started using healing magic. Damn it. I don't know if I can heal this. Oi half-breed. He called the barely conscious Grimm. Looks like you're gonna lose conscious soon, so before you do I gotta tell you something. I don't know how long you're gonna be asleep for, but by the time you wake up it's likely that all the humans in this kingdom will be gone. So if there's someones you want me to deliver a message to before you pass out, now's the time. Think about it as your final goodbye. Listening to Ryu's words, the realization that this might actually be the end of the Clover Kingdom finally dawned on him. This is the end, hey. Seeing that he wasn't responding, Ryu figured that he didn't have. After I fall unconscious. Can you deliver a message to my girlfriend? Someone like this is capable of getting a girlfriend. Tell her that she's the best piece of ass I've ever had. It's the least you could do. Sigh. Sure kid, if I come across her I'll tell her. What's her name and address anyway? Looks up at Ryu confused. You don't know your own mother's name and address. Present time, King Realm. Ptha ha 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 ha. And to think you passed out after you said that. You should have seen the look on his face. The other elves had to basically pull him off you. Laughing hard at what had just happened, the distorted king wiped a tear from his eyes as he did his best to contain his laughter. Fucking priceless. That'll make a good memory in the long run. Yet. Grimm brushed it off. How long till I wake up? King hummed. With your current constitution thanks to your breath of the beast base, your enhanced recovery speed from being a demon slayer and Ryu's healing magic, I'd say 5 more minutes give or take. 5 minutes? Yeah, that's enough time. What about my grimoire? It's in the other room, not even locked up or anything. Probably didn't even consider you'd be able to recover this quickly. Not to mention you're tied to a chair and all. Yet. Grimm agreed. Mages have really weak bodies, in their minds I probably wouldn't be able to escape without magic. Too bad my base strength is enhanced. King nodded. But you could have escaped earlier, right? With your physical strength alone no rope at that level would have been able to bind you. I mean it wasn't even magically enhanced or anything. I was waiting for my mental fatigue to recover. I'm still not used to using hyper-focus like that yet. And besides grins they were giving me a free power-up. Creator's thoughts. Errata. So I just finished Mass Effect 3. I now understand the controversy back in 2012. But goddammit if it isn't the best trilogy game I've ever played. First time a game series has felt so real and touched me like this. Not sure if I want to play Andromeda or not. Gameplay looks smooth AF, but I heard the story sucked. Trailer for Mass Effect 4 looks interesting though. Ripree. And LOL, Grim be finessing them all. Chapter 135, Bonds. After waking up from his slumber, Grim broke his bindings and retrieved his grimoire from the other room. I guess I'm in the capital. Looking out of the window, the sight of the capital in flames reflected off his glowing eyes. Damn. This is all they did? I could have done 10x the damage they've done by myself. For the most magically gifted race in the world, they sure are soft. No wonder they got wiped out. Sighing to himself, he couldn't help but wonder just how long it'd take for them to wipe out every human in the Clover Kingdom if this was them at their best. Sigh. Whatever, my beef is with the leader of the elves. I'll leave saving the citizens of the kingdom to the Magic Knights. They might as well earn their paychecks. As for him, he didn't really care about the Clover Kingdom. If it weren't for Asta, Luck, the captains and the Wizard King, he probably would have left to explore and fight the people in the other kingdoms long ago. Turning away from the window, just as he was about to head to go searching for Licht on the upper levels, the sudden burst of familiar mana erupting from the distance caught his attention. Oh. He's fast. No shit. Vanessa replied with a very grim-like tone. A/N, they've spent way too much time around him. Watching Luck zap around them, Magna and Vanessa raised their guard as they did their best to defend against his attacks. Eat this. Fire magic, extreme killing vanishing fireball. Lufulo tilted his head watching the palm-sized ball of fire approaching him. No way something that slow will reach me. Grins. Are you sure about that? Magna grinned as the fireball suddenly vanished. A/N, you can add in your John Cena memes now. Hey. Where'd it go? Seeing Lufulo panic, an expression of satisfaction crept its way onto Magna's face. Too bad it was wiped off with Lufulo's next words. Just kidding. Zoom. Flashing behind him at a speed that they couldn't follow, Magna's eyes went wide as he felt Lufulo's palm on his back. Moron, did you really think I couldn't feel its mana just because I couldn't see it? Remembering that Luck had the best mana sensing abilities in the entire squad, rivaled by Grim of course, the only word that came out of Magna's mouth before he was blown into the distance by Lufulo's spell was shit. Bang. Magna. Vanessa screamed as he was blasted away. You should worry about yourself. Flashing in front of her, a smiling Lufulo lightning-covered hand pointed straight at her face. I guess it might be a little too late for that now though. Lightning magic, thunderclap crumbling orb. Boom. Pant. Oh. Lufulo raised a brow seeing Vanessa standing a bit away from him. You actually managed to dodge that. What interesting magic. Covered in sweat and breathing heavily, Vanessa grit her teeth and clenched her hands. Using rouge like that took a huge chunk out my mana. I won't be able to fight long if things keep up. Aha! Lufulo suddenly made a face. I get it now, that weird cat is doing something to keep you alive, right? But a spell like that must use a ton of mana, right? Oh, I am. He laughed seeing the look on her face. So as long as I keep killing you over and over again, it'll eventually stick. Boom. Before he was able to finish his sentence, the ground around him suddenly exploded with him in the center of it. Oi! Magna's voice sounded out. Did you really think I'd go down that easily? Climbing out of the rubble he had been thrown into, a disheveled-looking Magna made his way to the surface. Now give us Luck back, you damn imposter! Aha! Ha! Ha! Ha 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 ha. As the dust cloud slowly blew away, it revealed the sight of a crazy laughing Lufulo. To think you'd actually hit me. Okay insects, I'll stop playing around. Try and keep up. 2 minutes later. Blag. Throwing up a mouthful of blood after having received a powerful current of lightning via Lufulo's fist buried in his gut, Magna fell to his knees. What the hell happened? After manifesting that weird ring on his back and cladding himself in more lightning armor, he became way faster than before. A bit away from the two of them, Vanessa lay with her in the dirt as she struggled to lift her head up. Oh! Luck looked down at the kneeling Magna before picking him up by the throat. After you said you wouldn't go down easily, you went down much faster than I thought. How disappointing. Expected, but disappointing nonetheless. I guess that's all you humans really amount to. Compared to us elves. Shut up. Magna managed to squeal out. I don't care who you are, my opponent's that idiot, so hurry up and get out of his body, you damn body snatcher. Yet. Vanessa barely managed to say as she forced herself to sit up. He's annoying, loud and destructive as hell, but he's like a little brother to me, so we're taking him back, whether you like it or not. Grits teeth. You speak of love like you're capable of feeling it. Tightens grip on Magna's throat. Don't make me laugh. You filthy animals don't have the right to such emotions. You kill, destroy, and betray everything around you. I won't stand for it. If these bonds you speak of exist, then I'll crush it along with the rest of you. Starting with this fading soul inside of me. Gripping Magna's throat even tighter to the point of suffocation, a crazed light appeared in Lufulo's eyes. Is that so? Magna said with difficulty. Then tell me, why are you crying? Hey! Showing me something like that. That's a sign, right? Smiles, a sign that you're still in there. Right, Luck? Shut up. I've been training really hard while you've been playing around. Grabs Lufulo's wrist, so hurry up and fight me, Luck. Shut up. Lightning magic, thunder arrow. Manifesting the same arrow he used to stab Grim back on the base, he thrust it into Magna's chest. Die, human. Like I'd let you. Coming from who knows where, holding onto the string of Vanessa's fading cat, Asta flashed onto the scene, and using the sword he took from Licht during their encounter, he slashed at the thunder arrow, saving Magna and forcing Lufulo to retreat. Surprised at the fact that he didn't sense this newcomer's mana, Lufulo looked at him with a small amount of curiosity. Who are you? Enters black form. I'm Luck's friend. Meanwhile all this was going on, high in the air, Grim, who had gotten a better degree of control over his mana since awakening his elf blood, suppressed his aura so that Lufulo wouldn't sense him as he watched the fight with his focus solely on Lufulo. What the fuck is in this elven boost? He's moving around like he's cocaine or some shit. Looking at it from above, he could tell that Lufulo was a bit more tricky compared to Rye. While not as powerful as Rhea in his elven form, Lufulo's speed definitely surpassed his by quite a bit. This was especially true once he got that weird ring behind him. Not only had his speed increased, but his agility had risen to another level entirely. That being said, Grim could still see and react to his speed. Only problem was, he could tell that he wasn't as fast. Back when both him and Luck were in their base forms, Luck had always been faster than him. Now that they'd both achieved a boost in magic power from their elven side, nothing had changed speed-wise. Luck was still faster than him. But back then he was subconsciously using ki to react to him, now he had hyper-focus. Rant and praise, so I recently caught up to the mangas of JJK, BC, MHA, and I've got something to say. JJK was honestly never the biggest fan of this series. When the anime came out I thought I'd give it a second chance since people were hyping it up so much. Long story short, it's a good series, but it doesn't suit my tastes. Besides Gojo and Sukuna, no one else in the series interests me. And if you're up to date with the manga you know one of those two I just mentioned are indisposed. So yeah, alright series, don't get the hype and Maki is overrated AF. BC, somehow this series never disappoints. Honestly rising to godly levels at this point. Like the whole Spade arc is just banger after banger. I mean we got side characters giving big villains the work, Nacht proving to be the best vice captain and Asta showing the true power of his anti-magic swords in Doom mode. That being said, is it just me or has Yuno become the weakest of the light triad? Like in the beginning of the series, him and Asta were relative to each other in strength with Noel being a bit behind them. But after Asta and Noel went to train in the Heart Kingdom while he stayed behind for his vice captain duties, stupid reason, I feel like a gap between them formed. I thought he might have overcome it and caught up to Asta a bit after getting Spirit of Boreas, but after the form Noel just revealed plus the fact that she's learned ultimate magic, she's become OP, I don't see how Yuno can stand against her. Hell, Luck, ultimate magic, might only be a bit away from him at this point. MHA, WTF happened to this series? Like I caught up because I wanted to start writing new CHP for my MHA but WTF. This series has dropped the ball so hard it might actually tunnel its way to the center of the earth. Like what was the mangaka thinking when he made the main villain AFO? I thought it was Shigeriki's time. And Deku? How has he not changed as a character? Literally no growth. After his city has gone to hell and he's just learned about the dark side of hero society thanks to a recently introduced character, he's still spouting the same old shit without even considering how flawed his childlike viewpoint is. At least Asta tries to understand his enemies without outright stating that his belief is right and that theirs is wrong. And then this newly introduced character all of a sudden is like, wow, he still believes in heroes despite me telling him the truth. He's a real hero. I'm so wrong in my beliefs which have been tempered over dozens of years of real-world experience. Oh well, if this random 15-year-old boy who's barely into his second year of high school says so, he must be right, oh golly. And don't get me start on One for All. Like the only way the mangaka could make this quirk/deku interesting was to basically give him 7 other random quirks for no reason. Like he has so little creativity of what to do with One for All besides punching, kicking, and the occasional air blast, that he's straight up giving Deku other superpowers to compensate. Like who from Class 1A can compete with him at this point? Explosion Boy? Deku almost dropped him when he could only use 5% of OFA, now he can use 45%, and that was without the additional superpowers. No wonder he becomes the #1 hero in the series. If he can't, no one can. For those who didn't read the entire thing, I'll sum it up quickly. JJK, Met, not my thing. BC, awesome, instant boner. MHA, shakes head and leaves silently. Chapter 136, Fast as FBOI. Sigh. I expected this to happen but still. Luck totally stomped them. And to make matters even worse, I know this guy is only using his body, but technically Luck just beat the most competent members of the Black Bulls all by himself. And Asta? What the hell happened to him in the time I was unconscious? I don't know how he did it, but he somehow managed to somewhat keep up with Luck at that speed. But he clearly wasn't that fast the last time I saw him fight. Is it that sword new he's holding? I know his swords are sensitive to magic and all, but this is insane. And why does it look like the one Licht was using when he fought against me? Standing in the air, Grim watched as Lufulo beat the ever-living shit out of Asta, Magna, and Vanessa in one of the most humiliating ass-whoopings he'd ever seen. Not that it was a surprise or anything. After all, out of everyone here Luck was the one who had sparred with him the longest, causing his power to skyrocket compared to someone like Magna who had never fought Grim once. Adding the elven power from the reincarnation magic was honestly overkill. Not to mention that just like Grim, Luck's body also had the ability to surpass its limits during battle and grow stronger. With all that being said, the battle was over before it even started. And not even with the addition of Asta could change that. Shit, he might actually kill them at this rate. Ah ha 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 ha. Is that all you have? So much for your unbreakable bonds. With Vanessa, Magna, and Asta down for the count, Lufulo, who was covered in his lightning armor, mercilessly stomped down on Magna's chest with enough force that it almost made it cave in. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Gyaha. Stomping down repeatedly, Lufulo's maniatic laugh resounded out as a small crater formed beneath Magna's body. And to make it even worse, every stomp sent a powerful current of paralyzing lightning into his body. Luck. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. He's gone. Lufulo laughed, stomping down on his chest again. Stop it, Luck. Asta screamed, doing his best to crawl to his feet. Oh. Lufulo tilted his head to look at him before a giant smile spread across his face and his figure disappeared in a flash of blue lightning. Zap. Watching the lightning-covered claw reaching towards his face, Asta felt his eyes go wide as he realized that he couldn't stop it. I can't stop him. Die, you filthy human. With lightning crackling around his arm, moments before he ripped Asta's face to shreds, a sudden eruption of strange mana forced him to stop and retreat as the area he was standing in suddenly transformed into a smoldering mess of blue flames. Who? Did you really think I'd let you hit me without paying you back in kind? Hearing the voice, Lufulo's head snapped upwards and grit his teeth with rage. You. Yo. Grim smiled as he descended down from above and landed in front of Asta. Half-breed. Seething with rage, the amount of killing intent on Lufulo's body increased by a disgusting amount as his eyes turned bloodshot. Damn, elves really don't like mixing bloodlines with human. Hey. Gee, Grim. Asta said with a shaky voice as the white-haired individual landed in front of him. The last time he saw him, Licht had slammed him into a wall and he, and Mimosa had been blasted out of the base with Grim's condition left unknown to them. By the time they came to, Mimosa was acting hysterical, wanting to go back to save him. If it weren't for Nozel, who had arrived to meet them and remind her of her duty as a magic knight, she probably would have gone back by herself. Why, you re alive? He said in an almost sobbing tone. Turning his head to face him, Grim gave him a weird look. Did you kill me off or something? What? No. It's just. As the two proceeded to have a whole conversation on how Grim survived being left alone in a base full of individuals who seemed to have an especially strong hatred towards him, the lightning aura around Lufulo's body started to spike as he suddenly shot forward. Half-breed! He screamed. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Closing in on him, just as he was about to strike, the sudden eruption of blue flames around Grim's figure was strong enough to blow him back. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Erg. Asta covered his face as he was also thrown back from the force. Yo Asta, it's been a while since me and Luck have caught up, so do me a favor and chill out for a bit, okay? But that's not. Asta. Grim called out with killing intent mixed into his tone. I said me and Luck have some catching up to do. Right. Sensing that Grim wouldn't take no for an answer, Asta had no choice but to nod his head and try to regain his stamina. Just. Don't kill him, Luck's still in there. Nodding his head in confirmation, Grim's eyes focused on Lufulu. With lightning and blue flames wrapped around each figure, the grimoires of the two snapped open as the two sprung into action. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Kicking off the ground with an insane amount of explosive force, both boys transformed into a bolt of lightning and a plume of blue flames. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Such force. Clashing head first into the other, the force generated from the two was powerful enough that the surrounding area was blown away and turned into a wasteland filled with scorching blue flames and random crackles of lightning. Watching with her mouth open wide, the sight of the mere clash between these two sent Vanessa into a state of panic as she saw the destruction brought about by a single exchange. Monsters. They're monsters. Asterisk swish. Asterisk. Asterisk swish. Asterisk. Asterisk swish. Asterisk. Dodging Grim's flame-covered sword, Lufulo kept his arms close to his body like a boxer and countered with a bunch of well-timed jabs that Grim narrowly managed to evade while backing away. Haha. You'll never hit attacks that slow. Is this Flash wannabe bitch mocking me? Breath of wind. Changing to a more agility-based style, the hue around his figure transformed from a blazing blue to a soft green as he struck down with a violent strike. What the? Claw purifying wind. Watching the four vertical claw-like slashes crash towards him, Lufulo did the smart thing and zapped out of there. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. TCH, running away now. Who said anything about going away? Just as fast as he had disappeared, Lufulo's lightning-cloaked figure came racing back towards Grim. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Dust whirlwind cutter. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Surrounding himself in a tornado of violent wind, Grim used the spell to launch himself up into the air moments before Lufulo's grabbed him. Breath of blue flames, 9th form, Rengoku. Slashing down without any hesitation, a beam of elven-powered flame magic came crashing down. Seeing the beam of concentrated fire descend towards him, an insane amount of lightning magic gathered around Lufulo's hand as he took on a throwing stance. Lightning creation magic, thunder arrow. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Throwing it with enough speed and power that the arrow basically transformed into lightning itself, once the two spells finally met, the amount of destruction it wrought was terrifying. At first there was silence like the world had forgotten the meaning of sound. But then, it happened. An explosion of fire and lightning so large that it drew the attention of every elf and magic knight in the capital. Erg. The impact of the spells colliding together sent gusts of violent wind in every direction as Grim and Luck proceeded to continue swapping blows with the other. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Dodging Lufulo's fists, Grim surrounded his body in wind magic and just like he did with the air bomb technique he created, he suddenly exploded the wind around him outwards. Arg. Not expecting such a development, Lufulo's body was blown back from the shockwave. Breath of the blue flame, 1st form, unknowing fire. Not willing to give him the time to recover, Grim activated his spell and flashed right in front of him. Breath of the beast, 2nd fang, rip and tear. Materializing both beast swords into his hands, he performed 2 diagonal slashes on Lufulo's chest causing a sudden eruption of blood to spurt out of his chest. He actually landed an attack on me. Feeling the sharp pain of his chest being sliced open, the memory of the elf extinction flashed through his eyes. Never again. I won't let you kill us again. What the? As if becoming the main character, the mana around Lufulo's body started to fluctuate violently. His mana is becoming unstab. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Feeling a sharp stinging pain break out on his face, it took a moment for him to realize that Lufulo had just hit him. No way, I didn't even see his fist mo. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Oof. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Ack. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Kya. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Raining a barrage of lightning-fast punches on his figure, Grimm experienced what it was like to be a living punching bag. What the hell is going on? My hyper-focus can't keep up. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Slaughtered. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Stepped on. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Erased. While he was wailing on him, Lufulo started speaking in a really dark tone. Compared to my rage. Asterisk bam. Asterisk. Your bonds are nothing. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Striking another punch towards him once again, Lufulo's eyes went wide when he saw Grimm raise his hand and actually grab onto his wrist before the punch could land. What? Lufulo? Luck? Whatever the fuck you're calling yourself. Holding onto his fist tightly, Grimm's voice started to echo out in the quiet area as his grimoire floated next to him and started pulsing with yellow light. You seem to have the wrong idea about me. Clench his hand holding wrist. Bonds? Connections? I ain't fighting you for some basic ass reason. What's going on? He shouldn't be able to move after taking all those attacks. Badum. What was that? Why did this body suddenly get excited? Luck wasn't able to get me there with his own power, but to think that within this short exchange you managed to do something that he couldn't accomplish for months. Feeling like something was wrong, Lufulo trusted his instincts and ripped his hand out of Grimm's hand before jumping back. I hit him with enough lightning magic to kill a normal elf. How is he still standing? Crackle. What the? Standing with his head still bowed, sparks of yellow lightning snakes began to dance around his body. Feeling the power of lightning coursing through his body, the sound of thunder rumbled in the air as he took a step forward in a slanted position and lowered his center of gravity. You played your role well, elf. Finding a lightning mage as powerful as you in this kingdom is really hard, you know. You taking over Luck's body is truly a blessing for me. A blessing? What's he talking about? Manifests thunder sword in its sheath. But your role is over now. Raises head to show off bloodied face and massive grin. Thanks for coming back to life just to make me stronger. With the ground beneath his feet and his enemy in front of his eyes, he closed his eyes for the briefest second as his grimoire started shining with intense yellow light and crackling with lightning. Inhales deeply. And fuck your rage. Breath of thunder, first form, thunderclap and flash. Creator's thoughts. Errata. So we finally made it. After 136 chapters we finally have Demon Slayer's most memorable breath style form. I won't lie, I held it off as long as I could. Thunderclap and flash is just too meta and everyone who writes something related to Demon Slayer gushes over it. I never wanted to be that kind of basic writer, I try to be better than that. Even thought of holding it off until the Heart Kingdom arc with Gaja. But this was too great of an opportunity to miss. I also need it for something else I want to do during this arc, so it had to come sooner or later. And who better than Luck/Lufulo to help him achieve it? That being said, I'm not EA, I'm not gonna milk the out of it until you guys are sick of it. Chapter 137, Thunderstruck. With bright yellow lightning surging around him, the air crackled and simmered with power as his eyes shot wide open. His pupils vanished, his eyes a pure white glowing with untethered amounts of energy. With his body lowered, sparks of lightning danced around his hand, illuminating his fingers and sword as he popped it out of its scabbard with his right thumb. Breath of thunder, first form Grimm-style thunderclap and flash. Staying stationary, the lightning around him grew stronger and stronger to the point that it caused the earth to erupt and spray debris in all directions. For the first time since reincarnating into this body, the expression on Lufulo's face was no longer one of cheerful joy, in its place was a look of pure and absolute terror. What is this? Watching and feeling the mana waves emanating off him, Lufulo felt himself frozen in place as his body started to tremble uncontrollably. His palms were sweaty. Knees weak. Arms were heavy. On the other hand, Grim was the complete opposite. His hands were steady. Sword was ready. Lightning surging everywhere like pieces of confetti. A/N, had way too much fun while writing. Being a lightning mage himself, all it took was a glance for him to realize the difference in their levels. The shockwaves and overwhelming pressure didn't help. Nope. Turning around in a single motion, Lufulo turned tail and ran. Pushing his lightning magic and speed to the limit, he crossed a vast distance within mere seconds. Unfortunately for him, with Grim's enhanced hyper-focus focusing on the new spell, the amount of power he built up in and around him was starting to reach terrifying levels. Staying still for a moment, the sound of thunder rumbled in the background as he took a single step forward. Leaping up into the air and running on the walls of some of the remaining buildings, Lufulo's heart continued to palpitate as the terror in his chest did anything but disappear. With this body's incredible mana sensing abilities and the amount of mana radiating off of Grim's body, he knew just how far away he was from that monster. A/N, even the elves are starting to call him that. Finally able to breathe a little bit easier now, Lufulo couldn't help but internally curse. Fuck, 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 fuck. What the hell was that? Even for someone possessing our blood, the amount of mana he has is not normal. And that intense level of focus. His potential exceeds even Licht's. Further and further he ran, brushing past several elves and humans in his way, leaving behind a streak of blue lightning in his wake. Yes. At this speed I'll be too far away for him to find him. Flash. Feeling Grim's mana signature suddenly vanish, Lufulo's went white as he slowly turned his head to the side. Impose. Grabbing onto the side of his face, the pupilless Grim proceeded to slam his head into the side of the wall he was running on while continuing to run in a straight line, causing Lufulo/Luck's face to turn into a bloody mess. Phew. Putting strength into his arm, he tightened his grip on Lufulo's face and with a quiet grunt he threw him into the air. Whoosh. A rug. Feeling the wind push against his back, Lufulo managed to regain control over himself as he saw Grim shooting up towards him. Feeling an excruciating amount of pain from his face, he grit his teeth tightly and thrust his hand forward. Idiot! Throwing me into the air only gave me the high ground. Gathering large amounts of lightning magic around the tips of his fingers, he started rapid-firing orbs of pure lightning magic. Dodge this, you half-blooded freak! Thunderclap crumbling orb. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. 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 After activating this spell for the first time, Grim instinctively under its limitations. The most prevalent one being the fact that while he was fast, he could travel this fast while moving in a straight line. But when had limits ever been enough to slow him down? With his ability to freely move himself through physical space thanks to his ability to fly, he watched as the orbs of lightning descended upon him. Crackle! Crackle! Gathering more and more lightning around his body, he made use of his flying ability to dash to the right, then left, then right again. What? How can he avoid my attacks at this speed? X1. X2. X3. X6. X8. Breath of Thunder, First Form, Thunderclap and Flash eightfold. Covered in yellow lightning, he zigzagged left and right, executing the spell 8 times in quick succession while only slightly augmenting the power and speed in order to adapt to the situation before charging towards a stunned Lufulo. I can't stop him. Zooming through the lightning orbs, Grim flashed in front of him with his arm raised high. Asterisk slap. Asterisk. Slapping his across the face at the speed he was moving, it caused the force behind his swing to contain enough power that it booted Lufulo out the sky and sent him crashing down towards the ground. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Argh. Landing heavily on the ground with enough force that it left a deep impression in the earth, he couldn't help but groan in pain. If it weren't for the lightning he was wearing, it was likely that he would have broken something. I have to get out of her. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Hearing the explosion behind, Lufulo's eyes shook as he resisted the urge to turn around. I can't get away. Landing only several meters away from him and walking out of the crater below him, Grim cracked his neck and faced the motionless elf. You can turn around now. Audibly gulping, Lufulo's mind raced as he thought of many scenarios that ended with him winning. Running? He would only build up more power and catch him again. Fighting? Only reason he could fight him till now was his speed advantage, which he had lost. Exhausting him? This weird half-breed had a disgusting amount of mana that he couldn't compete with. The only scenario he saw that didn't involve him losing, was to hope that Grimm wouldn't stay motionless and build up power again while he escaped. After seeing him pull off the eightfold technique, he realized that Grimm's speed wasn't much faster than his unless he stored up power. Turning around to face him, he saw that Grimm's glowing yellow pupils had returned. Yawn. Yawning loudly and stretching his limbs, Grimm loosened himself up. First time I've ever had difficulty controlling a spell, no wonder Luck didn't have the power to help me unlock it. Unlock it? What's he talking about? That being said. Changing his tone, his killing intent slammed into Lufulo like a tidal wave. Luck is much more fun to fight than you. Taking a step forward, Lufulo felt like the sky had suddenly darkened. You're strong. Step. You're fast. Step. You're a decent fighter. Step. But you ran. Step. Luck wouldn't do that. Step. So why did you? Placing his hand on his shoulder, Lufulo felt the urge to drop to his knees as it took all his willpower just to stand straight. I. SHHH. Grimm hushed him and shook his head. I'll give you one last chance, okay? Since I'm beginning to grow accustomed to this spell, I want to play a little game with you. A game? He asked in a shaky voice. Grimm nodded. Ever heard of tag? Chapter 138, A Grim Paradise. Running through the entire kingdom, the two boys left trails of blue and yellow lightning behind them as they played a brutal game of tag. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. A/N, reminds of the Flash vs Zoom. Through the streets, on rooftops, and across walls, these two raced everywhere their feet took them. During their game, Grimm had proceeded to decapitate several elves that he came across while also slowly catching up to Lufulo, who was starting to sweat bullets. Since they were knights from different Magic Knight squads, he only spared them a glance before using Thunderclap and Flash in the way it was intended to be used. Decapitating enemies at high speeds. Besides, if this came back to bite him later on, he could always say he was defending the kingdom from rebellious Magic Knights who threatened the kingdom's citizens. I mean, who was gonna argue with him? As the two continued to run, they eventually found themselves back at place the fight started. What the hell is wrong with this guy? It's like he's getting better at turning corners. Having ran for this long, Lufulo had already found the weakness of Thunderclap and Flash and planned to use it to escape from here. And while he wasn't exactly pleased at seeing his reincarnated comrades getting their heads cut off, his self-preservation instincts kept him from facing the malevolent force chasing after him. He could always avenge his friends in the future, but getting out of here alive was his main priority. Unfortunately for him, the longer the game continued, the better Grimm became at fine-tuning the spell, allowing him to properly utilize X8 when it came to turning corners. Stretching his arm out, the palm of his hand touched the back of Lufulo's shoulder. Tag. Hearing that cheerful voice, all the blood in Lufulo's face seemed to vanish as he understood the meaning behind that word. It was over. But would someone who's waited for 500 years really give up after reincarnating for less than 24 hours? Lightning magic, Thunder Fiend. With his grimoire flipped wide open and bursting with bolts of lightning, Lufulo's speed suddenly increased as he began ricocheting off the debris around the area. Fight. I have to fight to win. As he began to bounce around the area, the feeling of getting chased and the memories of his now dead comrades started surfacing in his mind as his speed started increasing even further. I'll kill him, 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 I'll kill him. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Whilst he was flashing from place to place, he didn't notice that his skin was starting to slowly darken as the actions of Grimm starting pushing him into the depths of despair. I'll kill you. A/N, Grimm really is a menace, isn't he? This mana. Feeling his magic power starting to swell and expand, the sudden dark and sinister nature his mana was starting to take on gave Grimm pause. Never forgive. Lufulo said through grit teeth growing faster by the second. I'll never forgive you. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Releasing some excess mana, Asta, Magna, and Vanessa, who were watching from a safe distance, started growing more and more worried as his mana waves reached them. As if sensing the change in his mana, Grimm's grimoire flew to his side and started pulsing with energy as he felt the power in his own mana suddenly grow, causing the yellow hue around his body to expand. While he didn't understand what was going on, seeing the change in Lufulo's appearance and mana, something inside him told him that if he continued to let whatever this energy was corrupt Lufulo any further, the chances of luck coming back the same would vanish. Having finally gathered enough momentum to point that his next attack would be absolutely devastating, he kicked off a nearby building and shot towards Grimm with his lightning claw stretched out. Die! Using hyper-focus and his newly enhanced lightning-like reflexes, he stood motionless and looked at the claw approaching his face. Deep breath. Facing the attack with a completely clear and focused mind, he put his arms up. Using his forearm to deflect the blow, he mercilessly drove his knuckles into Lufulo's throat with lightning-fast speed and precision. Ugh! With his eyes glowing a dangerous yellow color, Grimm felt his heartbeat accelerate as flashes of lightning streaked all across his body, causing every action to feel electrifying. Unable to hold his smile back any longer, he pulled back after striking Lufulo's throat since he came up with a fascinating idea. Since he needed to stop the corruption from spreading any further than it already had, wouldn't it naturally stop if he was no longer conscious to allow it? Watching his friend's body grasp his throat and struggle for air, Grimm pulled his arm back as if getting ready to perform another punch and slightly lowered his posture. Crackle! With flashes of yellow lightning dancing around his body once more, he dug his feet into the ground and applied reinforcement magic onto his arms and legs. Breath of Thunder, first form Grimm-style Thunderclap and Flash. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Moving faster than he had ever done so before, his body disappeared in a flash of lightning as both his figure and recently drawn back fist slammed into Lufulo's solar plexus with enough speed and force that the impact created a rippling sonic boom, forming a giant crater beneath them as Lufulo's body was shot backwards and sent hurtling through several pieces of debris and destroyed buildings. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. 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 Even now, the sound of his body crashing through walls could still be heard even over here. For Asta, Vanessa, and Magna, who were watching from a relatively safe location, the trio had trouble picking their mouths up off the floor as they slowly panned their head from the area Grimm was standing at to the place where all the previously standing buildings were now coming down. Shocked at the result of adding the Grimm style on top of Thunderclap and Flash brought, Grimm took a moment to stop and look at his fist. Ha, ha. Ha 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 ha. Breaking out into a fit of hysterical laughter, he couldn't help starting to jump up and down with excitement over the outrageous events happening around him. Awakening his bloodline, bodying elves left and right, meeting someone whose strength far surpassed anything he'd ever seen before, and finally developing a magic attribute that had long since become stagnant. For others this invasion might be seen as a disaster, but to Grimm, this was a paradise. Unable to control himself any further, he ran his hand through his hair and slicked it back before activating Thunderclap and Flash again to cross the distance between him and the distant Lufulo. A/N, he has white hair now, it'd go against my love of anime if I didn't make him slick it back like an edgelord. Having grown accustomed to moving this fast, a simple throat jab and shot to the solar plexus was nothing. If not for the fact that he was holding back, hitting vital areas like that would have killed both Luck and Lufulo then and there. Arriving in front of Lufulo's unconscious body, Grimm proceeded to pick him up and flash over to Asta and the others. Knowing that Asta's anti-magic seemed to be the solution to most magic-related problems, he guessed that anti-magic would also take care of this little reincarnation problem. Unlike the time he fought Fana in the Witch's Forest, something told him that overlording his body with mana wouldn't get rid of the elf inhabiting it. Probably because this reincarnation magic was much more stable compared to hers. And would you look at that, with a simple touch of Asta's sword the reincarnation magic in Luck's body broke. Watching the marks of reincarnation on his face disintegrate, the ghostly image of a blue-eyed blonde-haired elf that kinda looked like Luck reflected off of his eyes as it slowly ascended towards the sky. The fuck was that? Creator's thoughts. Errata. Yay! We saved Luck, my favorite character. Too bad Ryu didn't get to see Grimm decapitating his comrades left and right, could you imagine his reaction? And can we all take a moment to appreciate the fact that Grimm, by himself made Lufulo develop so much despair that he was on the verge of becoming a full dark elf? Like it took Zagred causing a genocide, 500 years of planning and reincarnating into the physical world to turn Patry into one, and what did it take Grimm? Less than half an hour. The guy is just built different. Chapter 139, Moving Forward. What the hell happened to your hair? After beating the elf inhabiting Luck's body, Asta and the rest finally had a minute to catch their breaths. Looking at the white-haired Grimm who was oozing with an unfathomable amount of mana, Magna and Vanessa were drawn to his new features. Even the now conscious Luck had a weird look on his face as he was still dealing with the new changes in his own body. Phew, you seem to have become a little bit more handsome since the last time I saw you. Vanessa laughed in a teasing tone of voice. A little bit. Hearing her, Grimm froze for a moment and gave her a profound look. Pointing his finger at her and slightly tilting his head to the side, he performed a magnificent JoJo pose and in a deep voice he said. Bitch, I'm adorable. A/N, white-haired Grimm just built different. Looking like he was surrounded by a divine silvery aura, even the usually flirty Vanessa found her face flushing red as her heart did several somersaults in her chest. What the hell was that? Forced to take several steps backwards, she felt her knees suddenly become weak as Grimm flashed her a world-toppling smile. Having an unintentional moan escape her lips, Vanessa's entire body felt like it was on fire as she found her eyes glued to his face. You okay, Vanessa? Seeing that something was wrong with her, Magna called out to make sure she was okay. I am fine. She half yelled while breathing heavily. Damn, I'm good. Watching her from his position, a small smirk crept onto Grimm's face as he switched his attention to the anti-magic boy. That being said, the thing that drew his attention was actually the sword in Asta's hand. New sword? He asked. Hey? Oh yeah, I got it off that elf you were fighting backing in the base. Wait a second. How did you get out of the base? Really, Asta? Look at me, who could keep such a lovable guy locked up? A/N, you know somewhere in the kingdom people are doing a spit take. Oh. Asta made an understanding face. Did they let you go because you're a half-elf? You heard about that? Yeah, everyone in the base was calling you a half-breed after all. For some reason I thought he'd somehow miss that. I mean even the guy in Luck's body was screaming at you about being one. Wait. Magna and the others turned to face them. You're part elf. Now that makes more sense. Not wanting to explain everything to them, Grimm shrugged and said I guess so. Guys. Asta called out. Not to get off topic and all, but we need to go help the others. Others? Yeah. The other people whose bodies have been taken over by elves and are running wild. I think I'll be able to stop them if I use this sword. Speaking of that sword. Grimm butted in. How does it work exactly? It seems a bit different from your other two. He nodded. This one seems to have the ability of removing the effects of magic. Oh. So in theory it could have undone the curse on your arms from a while back, right? I think so. A/N, should have removed Lolopechika's curse then. Eyeing the sword suspiciously, Grimm remembered that the only reason he was able to fight and move the way he could was all thanks to his breath of the beast base. But if he got hit by Asta's new sword? So what do we do now? Magna asked, seeing that everyone was basically ready to go. We should head towards the Black Bull's base. Vanessa said, still unable to take her eyes off Grimm. If we're gonna save everyone, we're gonna need all the help we can get. Let's go then. Actually. Grimm spoke up. I've got somewhere to be, I'll catch up with you guys later. What? But we need why? Thunderclap and flash. Activating his new spell, his body turned in a flash of light as not even a trail of dust was left as he flashed out of there. Thank God he's gone. Vanessa said, finally able to breathe properly. That smile is way too dangerous. That bastard. Magna spat. How could he leave us when? It's fine. Asta interrupted, looking at the direction Grimm had ran off in. He said he'd catch up to us later. Not wanting to start a fight with anyone, Magna reluctantly let the matter go. How do we even get to the base anyway? You can leave that to me. Luck said, finally grasping all the changes in his body. Closing his eyes for a moment, crackles of lightning started to echo out as he transformed into the form Lufulo had used in the beginning of the fight against the Black Bulls. What the? Everyone gasped. It worked. Luck yelled. But how? Magna asked, still shocked by Luck's appearance. I don't know, my body seems to remember how that elf guy used my mana. I've gotten even stronger now. I can't wait to fight Grimm again. While Asta and the others made their way towards their base, several houses in the town of Nairn were being torn up by the raging magic knights whose bodies had been invaded by elves. Die humans! Asterisk boom! Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Using their magic to devastate the surrounding area, the sounds of screams echoed across the town as several houses had collapsed with people still in them. For the ones who managed to make it out before being crushed, the sight of their loved ones' buried limbs sticking out of the rubble was enough to cause a mental breakdown. "Mommy!" A young girl screamed while clutching her mother's severed arm. "Disgusting!" Seeing the small girl bawling her eyes out in the middle of the road, one of the elves raised their arms and without batting an eye, he fired off an offensive spell. "Sis sob, I'm scared." "It's okay, everything will be okay." Hiding inside one of the houses that were still standing, a young woman with a bunch of children huddled around her sat quietly as they did their best not to be noticed by the rampaging elves outside. Unfortunately for them, elves had excellent mana sensing abilities. Knock knock knock. The door. Knock knock knock. Hearing the knock again, a bead of sweat dripped down the young woman's face as she realized the worst-case scenario had come to pass. Holding on to the kids even tighter, the group of them closed their eyes tightly as they heard the door swing open. "What are you guys doing?" "Hey!" Hearing a familiar voice, the girl and the rest of the kids raised their heads. "Gee Grim!" the girl said in an unsteady voice, seeing the white-haired figure. "What's up, Rebecca?" Chapter 140, No Regrets. Elves. Rebecca and the others screamed upon hearing the news of what was going on. Grim nodded, taking a huge bite out of a freshly made chicken leg. After fighting Mirioliana at the Black Bull's HQ, then going all the way to the Eye of the Midnight Sun's base just to end up fighting a bunch of randoms before swapping blows with Rhea, who powered up with Elf Rill, Grim had realized just how hungry he was. That's not even mentioning the Licht stuff and torture from the elves when he got captured. It honestly left him famished as hell. The fight with Lufulu also didn't help, as he probably burnt off way more calories than he needed. As for why he came here instead of going to the base to eat Charmy's food, whether he wanted to admit it or not, he felt some attachment to this town and preferred if the elves didn't mess it up. That being said, if the town was destroyed before he got here, he'd at most feel bad for it, but it wouldn't affect him on a deep level. Though he would miss those free haircuts. Oh, and as for the elves that were just terrorizing the town, since Grim didn't have the ability to remove them from the magic knights like Asta did, he simply removed their heads from their bodies, since it basically got the same result. Just with more blood. "So what are you gonna do now?" Rebecca's little brother Marco asked while taking away Grim's empty plate. Thinking about it now, Grim didn't actually know what he wanted to do. Save the kingdom? He didn't really have any deep attachments to it. Defeat the elves? Since he awakened his elven side, his power had reached a level where there wasn't much distinction between humans and elves in his eyes. Besides a few elves and humans who caught his eye, everyone else was pretty much expendable. But killing openly was fun. "What's up with your hair?" With the dishes now washed, Rebecca came and sat down opposite him. "Cool, right?" He grinned, seeing the look on her face. "Honestly made me a little hard the first time I saw my reflection." "What?" Watching her face turn red from his comment, he couldn't help but chuckle. "Don't look at me like that. We were all thinking it." Sigh. "Nice to see that the only thing about you that's changed is your hair color. Weren't you the one telling me not to change?" She nodded and touched his hair. "How long are you gonna keep it like this anyway?" "Who knows?" He shrugged as she sat back down. "Grim. Are we gonna be okay?" "What do you mean?" "Grim." She looked at him seriously. "Are we gonna be okay?" "I don't know," he finally said. Taking a minute to digest his words, Rebecca closed her eyes, and after a deep breath she opened them back up. "Save us." "Excuse me." Stealing her resolve, the red-haired girl gathered her courage and spoke up the words in her heart. "I know that you don't care about us. But Grim. We need you. I need you." Standing up from her seat, she walked over to his side, and to his surprise she pulled him into a hug. "Hey. I know we haven't always seen eye, but this town, the people here. They care for you, Grim. You might not know this, but you've left your mark on this place. And not just this town, you've left your mark all over the Clover Kingdom. You gave us commoners a voice, you made us feel like we were finally heard, like we were worth something. And I am so proud of you. Rebecca. I know I've been hard on you over the years, and that it's really selfish of me to say this considering the circumstances. But if this could be our last moments together, I don't want to be left with any regrets. Grim. I love you. Neat. She said, not expecting that answer. You're the 70th person to say that to me. He said, looking up at the red-haired woman who was hugging him. First, if you consider not passing out afterwards. What? I don't und. Now that I think about it, he cut her off. You're also the first one who's close to my age to say it as well. That being said, all the others had kids, but you're also taking care of kids like a mom, so I guess I attract a certain type. He nodded to himself as if understanding something intricate. I still don't Unfortunately, we don't have any more time. Grabbing a napkin off the table, he used some of the chicken grease on his fingers to write something and gave it to Rebecca. Yawn. I should get going, people to fight and elves to kill, you know. He said, getting up from the table and heading to the door. Oh. He suddenly stopped and looked back. And one last thing before I go, that chicken was dry, real dry. Slam. A/N, props to anyone who knows where that's from. After saying his piece, he left just as quickly as he arrived, leaving a stunned Rebecca to read the words on the napkin that read as Will bang okay, smiley face, A/N, +2 props to anyone else who knows where this is from. Grim hummed, floating in the air. Where should I go first? Meeting up with the other Black Bulls is definitely a no-go. Knowing Asta, he'll probably try to stop me from killing the elves. I could stay here and protect the town. But that sound boring as fuck, so that idea's gone. Ah. How could I forget? RHYA. Remembering the last time he saw the distraught elf, an evil smile hung on his lips. Wouldn't killing a bunch more elves in front him be fun? And not to mention that Licht guy is probably gonna be close by as well. With the power I've gained from fighting Luck, my chances of beating him has definitely increased. Clenches fists. God damn it, just the thought of mentally scarring him has me shaking with excitement. Chapter 141, The Legend Grows. Surrounded by a soft hue, a flash of yellow light sped through the sky at unimaginable speeds. It's Grim. He saved us. Long live the king of the commoners. Landing on the ground and destroying the elves terrorizing the Clover Kingdom citizens, the sight of Grim protecting them edged its way into their memories and subconsciously elevated his status to that of a king. How is this possible? A defeated elf screamed, looking at his severed arm and then back at the white-haired Grim. You're just a filthy half-br. EED. Unsheathing his sword, a thin vertical line appeared on the elf's face as Grim split him in half from head to crotch. Clink. Turning his back on the wide-eyed elf, he slowly sheathed his sword back into its scabbard and listened to the sound of both halves of the elf's body hit the ground when he was done. There's too many. A magic knight yelled as he and his squad mates faced off against dozens of flying elven magic knights. Hold your ground. We can't let them attack the citizens. Damn it. We won't be able to hold out at this rate. The elves burst into hysterical laughter as they watched the human magic knights struggle to keep up. How could such a pathetic species like this wipe us out? We must have been too kind to them. A female elf nodded. We won't make that mistake again. Looking down on the humans below them, the elves rained down a barrage of magic down on them. Goodbye, humans. This is the end. Watching the descending magic, the magic knights had no choice but accept their fate. Breath of the beast, fifth fang, crazy cutting. Slash. 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 What? The elves exclaimed in shock, seeing their magic get torn up. For a bunch of weaklings, you sure are arrogant. That voice. Forgetting that they were grossly outnumbered for the moment, all the human magic knights span around and saw a white-haired young man in tattered robes whose figure overlapped with a certain black-haired magic knight from the Royal Knight exam. It's you. One of them muttered, remembering the boy's brutal actions from the exam. Grim raised an eyebrow, seeing the magic knights and trembling citizens behind them. This action didn't last longer than half a second as he went over to one of the magic knights and handed him something. Hold this. Wah. Not waiting for a response, he shoved it into his hands and focused his attention back on the flying elves. White hair, glowing yellow eyes. Clenches fists. He's the half-breed Rhea warned us about. Oh? What should we do? One of the elves asked. Rhea said we should run if we see him. Forget that. The elf said with bloodshot eyes. To dare mix our noble bloodline with such an inferior species. Just looking at him makes me si. Neck. Ignoring the conversation happening above him, Grimm slashed his sword in front of him and watched as the head of the elf who was talking suddenly departed from its body. Asterisk splat. Asterisk. Ah! The citizens screamed seeing the decapitated head fall from the sky. With the head no longer attached to its body, a fountain of blood spurted out from the neck and the body fell from the sky. What just happened? The female elf slowly turned her head to the side only to see her brother's decapitated head leave its body. Be brother. Weak. Grimm's voice resounded out once more as he said. Neck. Splat. Neck. Splat. Neck. Splat. Repeating the word over and over again, countless numbers of elven heads rained down from the sky decorating the floor until only the sister of the first dead elf was left. Why? Was all she could mutter. Having the elf who shared their levitation magic with them die, the girl fell to her knees and looked up at the white-haired Grimm who was looking down on her. Lifting his sword above his head, Grimm's glowing yellow eyes bore into the girl as he smiled and said, because I can. Slash. It's gauche and merry. Asta yelled as he and the others faced off against the elves dwelling in their friends' bodies. While all this was happening, Vanessa, Luck, Sally, and Magna fought against elven Dorothy Unsworth in her glamour world. Welcome back you two. Stepping out of their growing tanks, the new bodies of the reincarnated Veto and Fana greeted the smiling Rie. Rie. The two gasped seeing how most of his hair had turned white. Your hair. Sigh, I'm guessing this means everything went to plan. Veto sighed disappointed that he couldn't have done more to help out. Rie nodded. How much do you remember? Veto opened his mouth and suddenly clenched his fists. That black bull bastard. Remembering the sight of Yami slashing down, a burst of bloodlust escaped out of his body. Compared to Veto's anger, Fana's face was covered in sweat as her body started trembling in terror as she remembered her last moments. GG Grimm. She stuttered remembering that young black-haired boy who pummeled her and her spirit into oblivion. Grimm. Hearing that name, something inside of Rhea seemed to snap as he grabbed onto Fana's shoulders. Did you just say Grimm? As in the person? He yelled completely losing his cool. Ow! Rhea, you hurting me. She winced. Realizing what he was doing, he quickly backed up and apologized. Sorry. Whoa, you okay? Never seen you freak out like that. Veto commented seeing his old friend lose control. And who's this Grimm guy? Watching the elves they struggled to fight against being slaughtered in front of their eyes, the magic knights didn't quite know how to feel. On one hand they were glad that the threat had been eliminated, on the other they felt wholly inadequate. While they might have been outnumbered, to have a single mage do something an entire unit couldn't left a bad taste in their mouth. And while all that may be true, they all shared a single thought as they watched him wipe out the remaining elves. Thank God he's on our side. Chapter 142, Shadow Palace. Sigh. I even told them where I was gonna attack and everything. Looking at the bloody mess littering the floor, Grimm couldn't help but sigh and shake his head. Dematerializing his beast swords, he walked over to the frozen magic knights and held his hand out. Realizing that he wanted the object that he had handed over earlier, the magic knights quickly returned it to him without saying a single word. Just the sight of him brought back some very unnerving memories that they would prefer to forget. Checking the object in his hand, Grimm made a very serious face before relaxing and looking up at the magic knight. You didn't fuck it up, good job. He patted him on the shoulder. I thank you. The guy yelled and bowed with a lot of nervous energy. The important object in question was actually a recording device he had looted from a shop after he left Rebecca's place. Since his goal was to mentally break Rie, he went to several different areas in the Clover Kingdom where the elves were attacking and recorded himself slaughtering them in the most offensive of ways. If that didn't bring him despair, he didn't know what would. That should be enough for now. Pocketing the device, just as he was about to leave, a small voice called out to him. Grimm. Hey. Turning around, he saw a small civilian boy slip through the magic knights and run up to him. Funnily enough, the boy was clutching onto a toy replica of his flame sword. Here. He said, handing him the toy sword. Just how much did the boss make off me? Remembering that Rebecca told him that the boss was taking vacation thanks to all the money the Grimm figurines had made him. Grimm decided that if he managed to survive this hole, then the two of them would have a serious talk about splitting the profits. That wasn't even mentioning that he didn't even know that the boss was selling replicas of his swords. Thanks. He smiled and received the sword much to the boy's glee. Mr. Grimm. The boy called out again just as he was about to leave. Why is your hair white? Why does everyone keep asking me that? Just as he was about to answer, the eyes of the little boy and magic knights facing him suddenly went wide. What is that? A magic knight pointed. Confused by what they were talking about, he turned around and saw a large black shadow shaped like a castle emerging from the Clover Castle. I guess I know where I'm going next. Inside the Shadow Palace. He escaped. Yet. Rhea nodded, explaining the grim situation to Patry. Gritting his teeth, it took a moment for him to calm himself down and take a deep breath. Do you think he could be a problem? He asked, remembering the black-haired boy from the time he fought Yami in the cave. To think he was a part elf, no wonder there was that weird sense of familiarity. If this was before, I'd say that his presence couldn't do anything. Rhea answered. But after awakening the dormant power in his blood, I'm scared that only Licht would be able to handle him. Licht. Patry whispered, looking over at their motionless elven leader. That's fine. He said, visibly more relaxed than before. As long as we have Licht, there's no way we could lose. Yet. Rhea nodded, not knowing what else to say. Even though he saw Licht beat him before, the memory of what he did to the elf inside of Rill made him very uneasy. Zoom. Flying through the sky at lightning speed, the sight of the Shadow Palace grew larger in his eyes as he raced towards it. Sensing a huge amount of mana in front of it, a momentary look of surprise surfaced on his face. Look. Mimosa? Mirioliana. And what the fuck? Is that fucking Fuegoleon? And why does he seem stronger than before? Grins. Feeling his body burning up from the excitement of sensing such strong and familiar mana signatures, Grimm's speed skyrocketed as he approached the Shadow Palace from the back. Front of the Shadow Palace. Captain Fuegoleon. Asta cried, seeing him and Mirioliana land in front of him and the rest of the Black Bulls. You're awake. And you've got the salamander with you. Hearing his voice, Fuegoleon sent him a warm smile. Looks like you've gotten stronger while I was asleep. Good job, Asta. I thank you, sir. He bowed aggressively and looked up at Mirioliana, who looked to be searching for someone. Oi, brat! She called out. Where's Grimm? It's not like him to be too far from the action. Grimm. Fuegoleon raised an eyebrow and looked at his older sister. Recalling the boy who caused so much trouble with the Silva siblings back in the Magic Knight HQ, Fuegoleon could only imagine the horror that would occur if the two met up. What a scary thought. He said he had something to do and would catch up to us later. Asta said, answering her question. That Fu. Just as she was about to chastise him, the sudden fluctuation in mana rapidly approaching from the distance stopped her in her tracks. This mana feels familiar, but different. Grimm. Luck exclaimed, remembering the new quality in Grimm's mana signature. Grimm. Mirioliana and the others who hadn't seen Grimm in his elven form raised their brows. So he made hay. Mirioliana grinned, not questioning why his mana felt a bit different. Fuegoleon, Nozel, and the others on the other hand weren't as accepting. Looking for answers, they all turned to Asta with an expression that said explain. Unfortunately, before they could get any answers, Magna's voice pulled their attention away. Guys. He pointed up at the Shadow Palace. That hole in the castle is getting smaller and smaller, isn't it? Raising their heads, they all saw the entrance to the Shadow Palace shrinking at an incredible pace. This is bad. Noelle suddenly exclaimed. An elf we fought earlier said that if they insert all the magic stones into the altar up there, then their reincarnation will be complete and the original souls will be sent to the underworld. What? Boom. Not giving them any time to collect themselves, a horde of Golden Dawn elves burst through a building in front of them, looking less than pleased to see them. You damn humans! Did you really think you could hide from us? Damn it! Mirioliana cursed. What terrible timing! Captains! Vanessa yelled and ran in front of Nozel, Mirioliana, and Fuegoleon. Get inside the Shadow Palace, we'll hold these guys off. Vanessa. Asta began. You to Asta. Magna yelled, standing in front of him. That new sword of yours is probably gonna be helpful. I'm coming too. Noelle declared. They'll probably need a healing mage to go with them, Mimosa. Kirsch Vermilion yelled to his younger sister. Right. She nodded. What are you doing, Noelle? A voice echoed out from above. Solid. Noelle stuttered, seeing her older brother. Grit's teeth. What the hell do you think you're doing just standing around? Solid. Flashback to Noelle using Valkyrie armor to save them. Clenches fist. I acknowledge you. As of right now, I acknowledge your strength. But don't you dare get cocky, Noelle. One day I'll overcome you. As your older brother, it's my duty to protect you after all. A/N, funny how a near-death experience can switch your attitude like that. Feeling tears welling up in the corners of her eyes, the youngest child of the Silva household nodded her head. All right. Fuegoleon yelled, getting on top of Salamander. Let's go. You're not going anywhere. The Golden Dawn elves screamed and attacked. Not on our watch. Vanessa and the rest yelled and went to confront them. Seeing their window closing, Mirioliana and the others flew up into the air and entered the Shadow Palace. That's not like you, Magna. Vanessa said to Magna as they charged towards the elves. Normally you'd want to go up and fight with them. Yeah. He grinned. But I'm almost out of mana, so I probably wouldn't be much help. Besides, with that person coming, this fight's in the BA. Where'd he go? Back of Shadow Palace 20 seconds earlier. Charging towards the Shadow Palace, Grim suddenly sensed something. Asta and the others' key disappeared. I felt them flying towards me. But this weird shadowy castle is in the way. Did they go inside? Grins. If that's the case, then I should go see what's so great about this place. Switch from Breath of Thunder to Breath of the Beast to yellow hue around his body transformed into a light grey color. Sudden throwing strike. Dashing both blades ahead of him, the magic cutting blade sliced through the shadowy castle and continued forward, creating Grim's very own entrance into the Shadow Palace. Chapter 143, Entrance. Well. This is new. Unlike the others who had taken the proper entrance to enter the Shadow Palace, since Grim had forcibly entered, the anti-intruder trap had activated. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Falling through the abyss-like dark space, he skillfully dodged the tendrils of solidified gold mana attacking him and used Breath of the Beast to rip the approaching ones into shreds. Pfft, ha ha, this is pretty fun. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. 3 tendrils shot up at him from below, but by using his improved control of his own mana, he was able to use his ability to levitate to twist in mid-air and dodge 2 while also managing to run on top of the third one before jumping off. Free falling through the air, the sight of a horde of tendrils rising from the bottom and charging towards him filled his vision. Smiling at the sight of it, the hue on his body became a blazing blue color as he manifested his flame sword and raised it above his head. Breath of Blue Flames, 9th form, Rengoku. While Grim was in the midst of entering the Shadow Palace, Yuno, who had a magic stone with him, was able to freely enter inside with Charmy clinging onto him. But like the magic knights that had entered before, the 2 of them were teleported to different regions. Charmy ended up with Asta and Mimosa, who were fighting against Rill. There she discovered her status as half-dwarf, which would explain her size. Yuno, on the other hand, ended up in front of the altar, which just happened to be in front of Rye, Patry, and some other random shaggy-haired elf. To think that the last magic stone would come to us, looks like our return is destined. Patry smiled and held his hand out to the elven Yuno, who was in his spirit dive form. Not willing, hey? Well, that's fine too, you should cherish your last act of defiance. Summons shit ton of light magic swords. It'll be your final act of free after all. Light creation magic, light sword of judgment. Copy magic, light sword of judgment. With Rya adding in his own spell, the quantity of light swords doubled tremendously. We'll be taking that magic stone now. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. No longer playing around, the 2 elves unleashed the barrage of sword attacks at the motionless Yuno, who stood watching with little to no change in his expression. Monazo. Just as he was about to show off his new control of the elven mana he had been imbued with, a sudden explosion from above interrupted him as a loud, familiar voice rang out. Rengoku. That voice. Recognizing that voice, Ryu's head shot up as a series of unpleasant memories flashed through his mind, causing his body to instinctively produce a mountain level of sweat. No, no, no. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. From above them, the ceiling burst into small pieces of rubble as a plume of blue flames descended from on high and slammed into the ground with enough force that the shockwave it caused threw everything into chaos as Yuno and the rest were forced to shield their faces and take several steps back while also doing their best not to be blown away. Ugh! They all groaned. With the plume of blue flames engulfing all the light swords they had created, the hue in the room became a blazing blue in color as the light swords were quickly destroyed. Found you, Ryu-chan? A playful voice sounded out as a silhouette emerged inside the flame plume. Hearing that the voice was directed at him, something triggered an intense reaction from him as his heart rate accelerated and his body started to tremble aggressively. His mouth became dry and his breathing became short and hurried. So this is where you were hiding. As the flame plume started to die out, the sight of a smiling white-haired Grimm appeared before them all. Seeing him standing there, Patry couldn't help but frown as he felt the mana fluctuations radiating off his body. No marks of reincarnation. He really possess our blood. Patry. A shaken up Ryu called out. Get the magic stone. Hey? If we don't want everything to go to waste, focus on getting the magic stone now. Magic stone. Grimm raised a brow hearing them. It was only after a few seconds that he realized that Yuno was standing behind him. Yuno? When'd you get here? Straight face. Now that I think about it, I didn't sense his key when Asta and the others entered. Could he have entered later than me? But then how did he arrive here before me? How much time did I spend dealing with those tendrils? Light creation magic, light sword of judgment. Copy magic, light sword of judgment. With no other choice than to distract Grimm and leave getting the magic stone to the third elf besides them, Ryu and Patry attacked with everything they had. Oh! Watching the blades of light aimed at him, a soft blue hue surrounded Grimm's body as time slowed down and he placed reinforcement magic onto his legs. Crackle! Breath of thunder, Grimm style first form, thunderclap and flash. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Is that really the best you can do? What the hell? Considering you're the mastermind behind all of this, I thought you'd at least be able to react to this speed. Grimm smiled at Patry who was still trying to comprehend what happened. Leaving behind a deep foot imprint in the ground and blasting through the light swords that were supposed to impale him. Grimm's thunder sword rested nicely at the side of Patry's neck without him even realizing that he moved until he felt the cold steel touching his skin. Patry. Ryu finally reacted seeing Grimm standing in front of his friend. Now Ryu. Grimm grinned. I'm feeling a little jumpy at the moment, any abrupt noise might cause me to accidentally launch a spell. Seeing that Patry's life was completely in Grimm's hand, Ryu had no choice but to calm down and try to distract him. What do you want? He asked keeping his eyes trained on Grimm's sword. Smiles? Funny you should ask. Rooting into his pocket, he pulled out a small recording device and threw it over to Ryu. Watch it. What? The recording idiot. Watch it. Looking at the device in his hand and back up at Patry, he took a deep breath and pressed play. Watching a compilation of Grimm killing several elves and recording the footage, Ryu couldn't stop himself from clenching his fists and gritting his teeth. How could you? He managed to force out. Those people were your comrades. Comrades? He chuckled. I think you're misunderstanding something. I'm as close to those people as I am to you. In fact, I might actually like you guys better. Why are you doing this? Fighting us? Killing Fana and trying to stop our return. What did we ever do to you? You mean besides trying to kill me for being a half-elf? Nothing. But then again, does a god need a reason to step on a bunch of ants? You're no god. Ryu said staring daggers at him. Of course I am. He smiled back. I'm a god of life and death, I mean it's up to me if this guy lives or dies, right? Kind of like a god of death. Shinigami. Reaper. You know what I mean. What do you want? Ryu asked again, doing his best to contain his anger. Grimm hummed lightly just to annoy him. I want. Feeling a sudden cold chill on his spine like someone had dipped their hands into ice-cold water and pressed it against his bare back, he was forced to stop mid-sentence as his grimoire started humming. What the? Seeing that he was distracted for a moment, Patry took the opportunity to flash to Ryu's side and the two quickly retreated. Nice one, Ron. Ryu shouted to the elf that Yuno was supposed to be battling. You got the magic stone? Yeah. The elf nodded. Now we can finally go through with our plan. That elf, something's wrong. My grimoire hasn't reacted like this since the first time I met Asta. Who are you? Ryu frowned, sensing that something wasn't right with Ron. Grins. Unfortunately for Ryu, the gaping hole in his chest stopped him from asking anything further. Rhya. Patry screamed, watching his friend collapse. Chapter 144, Burning Up. Rushing over to his downed friend, Patry did his best to stabilize him with light magic while screaming at the other elf. What's the meaning of this, Ron? Have you lost your mind? Hearing his screams but remaining unnaturally composed, a weird smile spread on Ron's face as he started slowly walking forward, ignoring both Yuno and Grim, who were completely lost. This magic, it isn't elven. Gripping his grimoire tightly, a chilling feeling started spreading throughout Grim's body as he watched Ron ascend into the air and approach the altar with Yuno's magic stone in hand. Having never felt such a chilling sensation like this before, Grim had no intention of stopping the elf, since he was curious as to why his body and grimoire was reacting to a nobody like this. A/N, LOL, his curiosity is gonna kill them all. I remember it all. Ron started speaking as he landed on the altar. The day I took advantage of the bond between the two mages chosen by the four-leaf grimoires to give birth to a grimoire of despair. And now, I can finally obtain what should have been mine all along. Placing the magic stone into the final slot on the altar, he continued his bad guy monologue. Here is this Shadow Palace, a place that acts as an interim between this world and the next. I shall summon forth that which I desire. Rumble. Fitting into the slot nicely, the ground started to shake as a black goo-like substance spread from the magic stone and covered the altar. Hum. Feeling his grimoire start to shake violently, Grim held onto it tightly. From within the black substance, a pitch-black coffin-like object appeared, surrounded by thin black tentacles. Looking at the coffin in front of him, a dark smile spread on Ron's face as he opened his arms wide and said, "Welcome back." As if on K, his body suddenly lost strength as he fell backwards and onto the ground. But before he fell, from his head floated out a small mass of blackness that joined together with coffin. Feeling an unfamiliar kind of energy pulsating from the coffin, a wave of cold mana began to fill the room, causing his grimoire to shake even more violently than before. Badum. 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 With the black mass from Ron finally joining with the coffin, a weird change began to take place as the coffin started to pulse and shape itself into different form. Phew phew phew. A dark voice echoed across the room, sending shivers down everyone's spine. The mass of black mana that the coffin was transformed itself into a tall humanoid figure with a pair of black bat-like wings, two black horns on its forehead reaching towards the sky, clawed hands, and a long arrow-tipped tail. The creature had pale skin covered by a black coating of what could only be black mana given shape. The creature's face was covered in black lines and wrinkles, and its teeth were sharp, pointed, and black in color, while its irises were red. Despite having never seen this thing in his life, with the reaction from his grimoire and the cold bitterness of its mana, only one word escaped from the young half-elf's mouth. Devil. Phew phew phew. The devil laughed, now having its body summoned into the real world. Although it's still incomplete, having a body after 500 long years is truly amazing. What a wonderful feeling. It chuckled, indulging in its new body. Thunderclap and flash. No longer able to hold himself back, Grim went on the attack and flashed in front of the devil and swung his sword at the creature's neck. Go away. Whoosh. Blown back by an unknown force, Grim's body shot backwards and slammed into the wall on the far side of the room. Bang. Arg. Watching that short exchange, both Yuno's and Patry's eyes went wide. He made his words a reality. Phew phew phew. The devil started to laugh again, amused by Grim's fruitless attempt. To think that I'd actually witnessed the child of a human and elf in this era. This world truly is a paradise. Focusing his attention on Patry, the devil opened its mouth. I know, right? Grim's voice resounded, catching him off guard. This world really is fun. Boom. Suddenly releasing a burst of mana, the coldness in the room brought along by the devil's appearance seemed to rescind a bit. HOH. The devil looked at him with interest, feeling the change in mana around them. He pushed my mana back. What a interesting child. Come here. Whoosh. Brought before the devil by the same unknown force that sent him away, Grim's eyes enlarged as he saw the devil's hand reach towards his face. Grins. Seeing the smile on the boy's face, a sudden sense of danger gripped the devil's heart as he saw a flicker of light emerge on the boy's body. Explode. Combusting his blue fire magic enhanced by his elven power around his body, the power of the explosion was enough to wipe out the entire room and forced both Yuno and Patry to defend themselves lest they be wiped out with the rest of their surroundings. Urgh! The devil screamed, receiving the blast at point-blank range. It hurts. This actually hurts. Blown back from the explosion's shockwave, similar to what had happened to Grimm, the devil's body was slammed against a wall at the far side of the room. Ah! Ah! The devil croaked while smoke emanated off its body. Smashed into a wall and covered in some nasty-looking burns, this was definitely not the way the devil thought its reintroduction to the world would go. That boy! Something's wrong with his magic. Hial! Sizzle! Ah! He groaned as the wound started sizzling and became smaller. I'm healing, but the pain is still there. Looking at the devil who had been flung away by his explosion, Grimm levitated in the air and looked down on him. It can heal. Grin. Damn you! Damn you! The creature screamed, enraged by the clear disdain on the boy's face. Having never faced a devil before, Grimm's heartbeat quickened as he wondered just how far he could push its limits. To that extent, he raised his sword high above his head. Rengoku. Chapter 145, Devil May Cry. A/N, been a while since I made a title pun. Return. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. What? Using his magic to stop and return the attack back to him, Grimm eyes enlarged as he watched the blue beam of concentrated fire magic he shot returning back to him. What insane magic! Sudden throwing strike. Switching from orange to grey, the hue on his body solidified as two spinning swords flew through the air and towards the beam. Fall. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Akh. Pulled down from the sky by the same unknown force that had been targeting him, Grimm's face and body slammed down against the ground with enough force that it created a crater. Be crushed. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Arg. Be squashed. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Arg. Be broken. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Gyah. Listening to his screams, the devil began to laugh loudly as it made its way into the sky. Looking down on him from his position, a sense of superiority burst out from its heart as it opened its mouth once more. Storm of swords. With those words spoken, a legion of countless sharp-looking swords appeared high into the air. Fall. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Using hyper-focus to sense what was going on around him, sparks of lightning flashed around Grimm's body as he pushed his mana outwards. I. Crackle won't. Crackle fall. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Unleashing his mana again, countless numbers of lightning snakes slithered across his body as he dug his feet into the crater and executed the only spell fast enough to get him out of this situation. Thunderclap and flash. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Activating his spell to its fullest, his body flashed forward and avoided the numerous blades that stabbed into the ground mere moments after he moved. Watching him evade the swords from above, a small frown surfaced on the devil's face. He did it again. Although it was only momentary, he managed to force away my mana that was holding him down. X2. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Charging forward with Thunderclap and flash, an enraged Grimm suddenly activated it again, but instead of using it to turn, he shot upwards and appeared behind the devil. You pale-skinned albino-looking piece of shit! Breath of wind! With his momentum still in flux, gravity had yet to let his white hair fall as he held his sword above his head. Sensing his intentions, the devil opened its mouth once again. Begone! Feeling that strange force manifesting around his figure again, Grimm's grimoire shone with intense light as his body instinctively started unleashing its mana in full force. Break! He's gotten used to shaking off my magic. No. He's not even conscious of what he's doing. Die, motherfucker! As if hearing the sound of something shattering, the devil watched as the green-colored blade slashed down its back. Claw purifying wind. With his forehead pouring down with a fresh stream of blood and his sword held upwards towards the right side of his body, the moment he swung his sword downwards, 4 vertical green wind slashes resembling claws sliced through the devil's body, separating it into 4 different vertical slices. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Ah. Shut the fuck up. Asterisk swish. Asterisk. Asterisk swish. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Taking advantage of the fact that he was using breath of wind, Grim didn't give the devil the time to scream as he conjured up a strong gust of wind to help accelerate his body to perform a double 360 spin that transitioned into a fast roundhouse kick that slammed all 4 vertical slices together and catapulted them away. What am I watching? Watching the fight from the ground level, both Yuno and Patry were at a loss for words as they could not even describe what they were witnessing. Pain. Asterisk crash. Asterisk. Pain like it had never thought was possible. Having its body split into 4 slices was bad enough, but to then have all those freshly cut slices forced back together by a kick was something else. Crashing into the ground from his kick, the moment all 4 parts touched each other they fused back together making him whole once more. But even after healing himself and fixing his body, the sensation of having his body being cut into 4 different pieces lingered as if it was ingrained in the devil's body. It was bad to the point that he understood what he was feeling was no phantom pain. Something about the boy's magic was breaking its body down and forcing it to remember the pain. Shaking off my magic. Able to cause me a devil to feel pain. Breaking my body down when inflicting wounds on it to the point that healing can't fix it. This boy's magic. Whatever it is, it seems to target everything that makes me devil. But compared to the explosion earlier, the pain I felt from that sword touching my body was far greater. Even if I can't avoid his long-ranged attacks, I mustn't allow that sword to touch me directly. Realizing the nature of Grim's magic, a shit ton of schemes flashed through the devil's head as it stabilized itself on the ground. Before making any other moves, I need to secure my grimoire in this war. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Manifesting by his side with his fist covered in bright blue flames, Grim didn't hold back as he proceeded to bombard the devil with a barrage of lightning-fast punches. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. 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 Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. With every strike that landed on its body, it was like a miniature explosion had taken place as the entire room shook from the impact. Go, awa. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Arg. The devil screamed as it was blown away by an enraged punch to the face. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk screech. Asterisk. It burns. He cried internally while digging his solace into the groan to slow its backwards momentum. Unfortunately for him, while Grim was punching him, he had dug his thumb into one of his eyes causing the flames on his fists to seep into his body and burn it from the inside. The pain was unlike anything it had ever experienced before. To feel your body burning from both the inside and the out. For a creature from the underworld, it was ironic that it compared this sensation to a living hell. On the bright side, it was fortunate that Grim had only used his fists instead of his swords. How is this possible? He spat. The fact that he had no grimoire and was feeling pain for the first time made it so he couldn't fight at 100% of his ability. And then there was that weird feeling he occasionally felt. Like his mana was being pushed back against. But even so, regardless if the boy's magic opposed him, he was still a high-ranking devil. There was no way he should be getting treated like this. Especially not by the offspring of the 2 races that he had manipulated. That's it. Knowing that he needed to draw Grim's attention away from him long enough to escape, he remembered the whole reason he was able to reincarnate into this era in the first place. Looking to the far side of him, the sight of a desperate patry healing his fallen comrade entered his eyes. Grin. Chapter 146, Mind-Shattering Truth. With the effects of his magic beginning to weaken every time it was used on Grim, the devil had no choice but to focus its attention on someone else if it wanted to get its grimoire and stand a chance against the accursed half-breed. Knowing that only the spells in its grimoire could turn the tides of battle, the devil's wings flapped as it sped over to Patry. With the distance created between him and Grim thanks to the latter's last punch, getting to Patry before Grim only took a moment. Seeing the devil speeding over towards him, the cold darkness of its negative mana seemed to trigger something in the elf. Since elves were the race most loved by mana, facing a creature born from negative mana. Both Grimm and Patry's bodies moved instinctively in an attempt to destroy the source. Light magic, light sword of judgment. Taking a moment to pause from healing Rie, Patry's grimoire started glowing as he thrust his arms forward and fired off multiple shards of light at the approaching devil. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Unfortunately he didn't get the desired result. With the sight of the light shards piercing towards him, the devil made its black teeth clear to everyone as it opened its mouth and said, "Return." Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Freezing for an instant, the light shards seemed to tremble as they suddenly stopped mid-air and returned from whence they came. Oh crap! Grabbing the injured Rie, Patry shot up into the air in an attempt to escape. It was just too bad that the light shards he had created were homing in on him. While the shards of light were being sent flying back towards him, Grimm attempted to use Thunderclap and Flash to catch up to the devil while Yuno charged forward in attempt to stop Captain Vengeance's body from being riddled with holes. Go away! What? Despite seeing the same thing happen to Grimm earlier, Yuno was not prepared for the sudden force pulling him back. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Gyaha! He screamed as his back was slammed into the wall. Storm of swords. Freeze. Fall. Be buried. With Grimm quickly gaining on him, the devil spat as much words out of its mouth as it could to slow him down while it dealt with Patry, who was struggling to dodge the light shards while carrying Rie. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! I won't be able to hold on at this rate. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Ugh. Dodging the homing light shards while manifesting new ones to destroy the old ones, Patry clenched his teeth as he flashed through the sky at light speed. Hang in there, Rie. I swear I'll protect you. Seeing one light shard that managed to slip through his counter-attack, he bit his lip and used his free hand to create a whip made of light and swung it at the last light shard. I won't let us die again. Light creation magic, bright whip of judgment. Regrettably for him, he forgot one crucial detail. Disappear. The devil was still here. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Watching his whip break into shards of little of vanish before his eyes, there was nothing he could do as the light shard he was trying to destroy flashed through the air and lodged itself in his chest. Rhya. Feeling a sharp pain spread through his body from his chest, things only got worse when he heard the devil's voice resonate in his ears. Iron spears. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Asterisk stab. Asterisk. Impaling his body from below, pure black spears emerging from the ground pierced through Patry's body, causing him to lose his grip on Rie. Arg. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Devil. Grimm roared, finally breaking through the obstacles set up to slow him down. Vacuum wall. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Since he knew that he couldn't manipulate the mana in the area to stop Grimm due to him constantly breaking out of it, the devil decided to use a vacuum to pull him away. Damn it! He yelled, feeling the newly created vacuum dragging him away. Now that he had been blown away for the short time, the devil focused its attention on the groaning elf whose face was warped in pain. And no. That's impossible! Patry shouted, not believing a word the devil said about him being the one that reincarnated them. It was Licht that brought us back. Even though it meant dirtying his own hands with forbidden magic. He entrusted us with his final hope. Is that so? The devil chuckled, cutting him off and caressing his face. Think, elf. Would Licht really have wanted this? What are you talking about? This. I did this all for Licht. Grin. The leader of the elves would never have wanted the eradication of the humans. That's not true. Isn't it? The devil laughed, clearly enjoying this moment. Both your revival and the vengeance you so longed for have been nothing more than misguided lies. You've merely been walking down the neatly paved road that I prepared for you, Grin, all while stringing along those other fools who chose to follow after you. You've truly done a splendid job. It's a lie. And in the end it's led you to a future that Licht would never have wished for. It's a lie. Thanks to your actions, I've finally managed to manifest in the living world. It's a lie. And reunite my soul and body. It's a lie. You have my thanks. It's a lie. Patry continued muttering. I was chosen by the four-leaf clover, just like Licht. Indeed. The devil's voice echoed in his ear. You were chosen, as my perfect little pawn. Well done. NGH. Unable to face the truth that he had been following the devil's plan all along and created a future that Licht tried to avoid, Patry unleashed a horrific scream filled with anguish. Arg. Phew 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 fa ha 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 ha. Seeing him in such despair, the devil could help but burst into a fit of malicious laughter that echoed across the room. Hilarious. It's just way too hilarious. Elves, humans. Your dreams and ambitions make such wonderful playthings. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Cutting his celebration short, the sound of an explosion where Grimm was caused him to pause as a white-haired figure covered in blood and dust walked out of the smoke cloud. The devil fumed seeing him again. He broke out of my magic again. Is my magic getting weaker? Looks at you no. No. For some reason it seems like my magic is only half effective against him. After breaking through the devil's magic once more, Grimm dusted himself off and after ripping off what little was left of his royal nightrobe, he took a deep breath and spoke in a clear voice. Humans. Elves. As pathetic as they are. Grins, I hope you're not lumping me in with them. Chapter 147, Sticks and Stones. Clap clap clap. Very nice. Very very nice. Dusting himself off, the sound of Grimm's applause echoed out throughout the entire area. You know, I've always thought that I had a way with words, but compared to you I'm really lacking. Hearing the compliment, the devil shifted its attention away from the broken elf it had been torturing and onto the half-elf who it couldn't help but feel intrigued by. And to psychologically break someone you've been manipulating for 500 years, I'm impressed. Although you could have been a bit more vicious in the way you explained that everything he had done up until this point had been completely pointless to really drive the point home. But besides that, not bad. Not bad. Did this 16-year-old mixed breed mutt really just describe a devil's method of mental torture as not bad? Phew 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 phew. The devil crackled upon hearing him. This day keeps getting better and better. To think that an insignificant crossbreed like you would criticize my torture methods. The people of this world truly are entertaining. I mean, I was gonna bring up your whole 500-year-long plan. Like it taking you 500 years just to get to this point is kinda embarrassing. But what can I say, some people just aren't gifted when it comes to this stuff. Nothing to be ashamed of, it was pretty good for an amateur. Amateur? Ha, ha, ha 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 ha. What's his deal? Covering his face with both hands, the devil's eerie laughter rang out as black particles of negative mana from what Grimm thought was its clothes floated upwards. 500 years. Ha 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 ha. I haven't laughed like this in 500 years. Boy. What's your name? Grimm. Grimm. The devil suddenly stopped laughing abruptly and looked at him weirdly. Grins. What an amusing name. Shrugs. It is what it is. What's your name anyway? My name. The devil looked puzzled hearing his question. Now that I think about it, you will be the first person in this world to know my name. Be grateful, half-breed, and hear my name. For I am the devil of words. Zagred. Ptrilly. Grimm had to forcibly stop him from laughing after hearing the devil's name. Laying on the ground far below all the action, a barely conscious Rhea struggled to raise his head and look at the devil who was having a weirdly civilized conversation with the half-elf over Patry's mental torture. What the hell is happening? Is he bonding with the devil? Phew 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 ha 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 ha. I agree. The weak should fear the strong. Zagred laughed, finding himself agreeing with the young boy. Grimm nodded before showing off a mischievous smile. To think I'd have so much in common with the devil. Why are we fighting again? Grimoire floats up. Oh right. Unsheath sword. The devil frowned seeing him unsheath his sword. Seeing his face, Grimm explained the situation. It's nothing personal. I'm just kinda tired of killing humans and elves. I see. The devil rubbed its chin then nodded. But before we get to it, do you wanna see something fun? Fun? Sure. Unknown to Grimm, Zagred was actually breathing silently with relief. Knowing that Grimm and his weird magic that was wreaking havoc on his insides wouldn't attack him while he was focusing on patry was comforting. Did you know? Zagred started. When the owner of a 4-leaf grimoire is swallowed by deep despair, the 5-leaf grimoire is born. As if emphasizing his point, he picked up Patry's grimoire, which had turned black color and had its bright 4-leaf clover on the cover turned into a black 5-leaf clover. At last. Vibrate, vibrate. Sensing the change in the grimoire, Grimm's own grimoire started humming and vibrating in the air. I finally possess both my body and pitch black grimoire. I can finally rule over the current world with my true form and power. I can also get rid of that weird mixed breed brat. For 500 years I have deceived, killed, and stolen all for this moment. Phew 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 ha 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 ha. Ah, it was so fun. Yet. Grimm's voice resounded out, erupting Zagred as he reveling in his plan finally coming together. That's cool and all, but you didn't show me anything fun or interesting, Sue. I'ma stab ya now. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Unleashing his magic power, he prepared to flash through the air and up to the devil to resume their battle. TCH, TCH, TCH. Zagred shook his head. I haven't even shown you the fun thing yet and you're already wanting to jump into it. Oh well. He shrugged and walked over to Patry. Unfortunately, I'm not your opponent this time. What? Now that he had his grimoire and body, the thought of playing with Grimm any further seemed quite dull compared to leaving the Shadow Palace messing with the entire world. To that end, he leaned in and whispered into Patry's ear. Let your hatred and despair guide you. Erupting with power, Patry's skin started to visibly darken before his very eyes. This mana. Flash back to elf luck before finishing him off. As my final gift to you. Zagred's voice sounded out. I'll show you what it looks like when a member of your species overflows with malice. Crack. Along with his change, cracks started appearing in the iron spears penetrating his body until they suddenly shatter. Shattered. Giving into their hatred and despair, an elf's heart that has been corrupted by malice becomes a dark elf. Ruor. Yug. Grimm covered his ears hearing Patry's scream. What the hell? This guy's mana quality has completely changed. Similar to how Grimm's mana quality changed when he awakened his elf blood and achieved his white-haired form, the quality in Patry's mana as a dark elf was almost completely different to that of his previous elven state. Not to mention that the nature of the mana emanating off of him was eerily similar to that of Zagred's. And even though he hadn't done anything yet, Grimm could feel that the patry in front of him was far stronger than he was when he came in earlier. TCH. To think that a race change would give such benefits. The people on Earth would really abuse this, wouldn't they? Wait a second. Since this transformation requires one to be an elf, doesn't that mean I can do it as well? Demon light magic, light sword of judgment. Enslaved to its hatred, dark elf Patry abruptly started firing black shards of light at him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Breath of mist, second form, 8-layered mist. Dodging and counter-attacking the spell, Grimm was forced to re-evaluate Patry's strength. Shit. Well then. Zagred said, seeing Grimm was all tied up at the moment. I'll be taking my leave now. Damn it. Grimm screamed, slashing through a barrage of black light shards. Do you really think this will be enough to stop me? He shouted at Zagred, who was flying towards the exit above. No, but it'll slow you down. And I won't have to deal with your weird magic for a while. TCH, I can still feel the burns he gave me earlier stinging. Ignoring Grimm's yell, he continued flying upwards. Fuke. Rengoku. Annoyed that this mindless thing was getting in the way, Grimm's murderous intent skyrocketed as he unleashed a rage-infilled blue beam of concentrated flames that tore through the Shadow Palace. Phew 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 phew. Zagred laughed, seeing Patry dodge the attack and storm towards him. But just as he was about to fly through the hole in the ceiling, the scream of an unknown boy and girl stopped him in place. Yuanu. Grim. Fwoosh. Falling through the hole was a short boy with ash-colored hair and a girl with vermilion-colored hair holding onto him. Chapter 148, Perfect Counter. Mimosa POV. What is this situation? And what is that thing? Holding tightly onto Asta's back as they fell through the hole in the ceiling, the sight of dark elf Patry fighting Grimm caught the young royal off guard. But compared to the pale-skinned black thing floating only several meters away from her, seeing Grim fighting was nothing. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Skirting around all the explosions going off around him, Grim noticed Asta and Mimosa's arrival. Grim! Asta shouted, seeing him fighting Patry. What the hell is going on? And what is that thing? He pointed at the flying Zagred, who was watching in amusement. Phew 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 phew. Zagred laughed to himself upon seeing the grimoire in Asta's possession. To think I'd see the grimoire that was supposed to be mine here. What an amusing twist of fate. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Dodging the shards of light that were moving fast enough that the sound of air being cut sounded out, Grim didn't bother explaining since his hands were full. Yuno on the other hand was still struggling to deal with Zagred's storm of swords and was in desperate need of help. Asta. Grim's eyes lit up the moment he saw him. Clang. Using his sword to deflect an attack, the corners of his mouth turned upwards as he raced over to his squad mate with dark elf Patry chasing after him. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Blowing past the new arrivals, he placed his hand on Asta's shoulder and quickly said, "Deal with this for me," before shooting up towards Zagred, who had already left. What? Not giving him time to think, Patry arrived in front of Asta and created a giant sword of dark light and slashed down towards him. Zagred POV. Flying through the exit and up to the highest floor in the Shadow Palace, the devil found itself in a spacious room with a stone door ahead of him. "Oh ho, so that's the doorway leading to the outside world," he said with an unusual amount of glee in his voice. "Now would you kindly move aside, you're in the way." Standing in front of him and blocking the doorway to the outer world was the elf leader with the gravity-denying hair Licht. Holding the demon dweller sword he had traded with Asta earlier on, the elven leader looked at Zagred in his dazed state and said, "I will not let you pass." "Is that so?" Zagred chuckled, showcasing his black teeth. "To think even in this state your hatred for me is strong enough that you still want to meddle with my plans. Phew phew phew, I guess that's a given though, considering that the grimoire I couldn't take from you I have taken from someone you consider family." Holding his new grimoire in his hand, Zagred showed off a gleeful expression. "To think that the unstable soul that gave birth to a demon would stand before me. I commend you, elf leader. For such an achievement, I think I should reward you." Grins. Spear of lightning. Asterisk zoom. Asterisk. Using his word magic, he manifested a three-pronged spear made of lightning and discharged it in Licht's direction. Facing it head-on and swinging his sword at it, Licht managed to completely stop the attack and absorb the magic into the demon dweller before unleashing the magic back at Zagred in the form of a giant slash. Wall of earth. Springing up out of the ground, a thick wall of stone formed itself in front of the devil and took the brunt of the attack. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Phew 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 phew, not bad, elf leader. Zagred laughed, seeing his earth wall crumble. "Unfortunately I'm a bad matchup for you. Iron spears." Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Clang. 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 Defending against the iron spears, Licht didn't notice the black substance shoot out the ground and wrap around him until it was too late. That's more like it. Compared to that half-elf whose magic seemed to suppress my own and only allowed me to use half of my power, this is much better." Seeing Licht all tied up in his binding, Zagred took this chance to wipe him out once and for all. Storm of swords. Summoning an innumerable amount of swords in the sky, Zagred watched as they fell to the trapped Licht. Farewell, leader of the elves. With no way to escape the binding due to it being made of matter and not magic, Licht had no choice but to look up at the falling swords moments away from impaling him. "You were most amusing." Zagred finished. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk. Listening to the sound of the swords tearing through the air, Licht closed his eyes and accepted his fate. At least that's what would have happened. Crazy cutting. Asterisk ting. Asterisk. Asterisk ting. Asterisk. Asterisk ting. Asterisk. Asterisk ting. Asterisk. When did he get here? Appearing out of thin air, surrounded by grey aura blades, the white-haired half-elf flashed in front of elf leader and used his magic. to intercept the falling swords, ensuring that none of them touched Licht. "Tch, you really don't know when to give up," Zagred muttered in a displeased tone. "What can I say?" Grimm laughed, seeing the annoyed look on his face. "Giving up isn't one of my fortes." Clench. Angered at the appearance of the one capable of suppressing his mana with his presence, Zagred started shouting word after word in an attempt to stop him. Iron spears. Ice shards. Vacuum wall. Explosion. Unfortunately for him, for every word he spoke, Grimm had a spell to counter it. He blew away the iron spears with breath of wind, melted the ice shards with breath of blue flames, resisted the vacuum wall with breath of the beast, and extinguished the explosion with breath of water. Argh! Zagred screamed in his head, infuriated by what he was seeing. No matter what method he used, nothing seemed to work against Grimm. It was like he was the perfect counter to him. Not to mention that his mana was being suppressed, making his spells weaker than they should be. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! What is that magic? Watching Grimm stand in front of him and deal with Zagred's magic, Licht's expressionless face somehow managed to soften as he asked why. What? Annoyed by the fact that he was being asked a question despite dealing with fatal magic being fired at him continuously, Grimm couldn't help but feel slightly pissed. Don't get it twisted. He scowled, focusing his attention on the attacks coming at him. I still have a score to settle with you. You're not allowed to die until then. Remembering how his previous fight with Licht ended, Grimm truly couldn't wait to see the leader of the elves on his knees begging for his life, only for it to fall on deaf ears as he pierced his heart with his jagged beast swords. Just the thought of it made him feel all tingly. Chapter 149, Doing the Most. How troublesome. Analyzing the way the two's abilities worked, Zagred felt incredibly annoyed at fighting them. Licht's sword made it so that any magic coming at him could be absorbed and then returned back to him. Grimm, on the other hand, was just as troublesome, since the effects of his magic was only as half effective when used against him. But that wasn't to say that they didn't have a weakness. In fact, the two had the exact same issue. By analyzing them, he discovered that since magical attacks were useless against them, he should just focus on hitting them with physical attacks instead. To this end, he used his word magic to manifest physical objects and hurled them at the pair. Storm of swords. Iron spears. Earth spikes. Running towards Zagred with Licht by his side, the two white-haired elves gripped the hilt of their swords tightly as the sound of their footsteps echoed throughout the entire room. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Hat. Using the maneuverability granted to him by flowing dance, an ethereal wave of water manifested behind Grimm's figure as he elegantly weaved through every attack thrown at him. In the eyes of others, it almost looked like the attacks were actually avoiding him. And with hyper-focus operating at full force, he sensed every little change in the environment, allowing him to easily figure out where the earth spikes would pop out from. Compared to fighting Zagred in lower floor of the Shadow Palace, Grimm was having a much easier time now. That being said, Zagred was forced to split his attention and watch out for Licht as well, so not all the pressure was on him like before. Speaking of Licht, now that Grimm had arrived, he also felt the burden on himself lighten up. Using nothing but his battle senses and innate fighting talent, he managed to dodge Zagred's reckless attacks and counter with white arc slashes from his sword. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Seeing the slashes flying towards him, Zagred flew upwards in a single motion and evaded getting split in two. Swoosh. Breath of water, 8th form, water basin. Piggybacking off Licht's attack, Grimm slashed his sword downwards and manifested a large amount of water above Zagred's figure. Was the only thing he was able to say before the water hit him. And with that amount falling at that speed, it was not an exaggeration to say that it felt like he was being hit by a train. Argh! His screams were muffled by the water pouring into his mouth, cancelling his ability to use his word magic. And to make matters even worse, since this was demon-slaying magic hitting him, having it enter his body through his mouth meant that the pain was a hell of a lot more excruciating compared to being hit by ordinary water magic. Crackle. Thunderclap and flash. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Once his body hit the ground with enough force that it actually managed to bounce, Grimm took advantage of the fact that his body was covered in water to reinforce hit legs with magic and used the Grimm-style enhanced version of the spell to transform into a flash of lightning and flash past Zagred's bloated figure and decapitate him in the process. Whilst Grimm and the others were dealing with the situation inside the Shadow Palace, Finral was happily resting on the floor in some broken-down building. That was until Asta's bird Nero started aggressively pecking away at his forehead. Ow 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 ow. Nero, stop! He screamed, rolling around on the ground, rubbing his forehead. Why would you do that? He yelled. And to his surprise, he actually got a response. Take me to the head of the demon. Zagred POV. Lightning and water, not exactly the best combination, at least for the person getting hit by it. Having his head cut off while the rest of his body dealt with the electrocution, the pain Zagred was experiencing was enough to drive even a devil insane. It was bad to the point that he even lost consciousness for a few seconds. Pain. Humiliation. Anger. Experiencing all of these new sensations in one go caused a build-up in Zagred's stress levels until it eventually accumulated into a feeling of pure rage. Angered to the point that the feeling of his head being separate from his body didn't register in his brain, Zagred opened his mouth. But instead of words, the only thing that came out was a high-pitched blood-curdling scream that made the room tremble and aggravated both his and Grimm's mana. Whoa! What the hell? Hearing Zagred scream and feeling the ground beneath his feet shake. The amount of wild negative mana exploding out of the devil's body was strong enough that Licht was forced to back away while Grimm's mana activated itself and reduced the mana aimed at him by 50%. Rage. Pure unrefined wrath. And it was his fault. 500 years. For 500 years he had waited for this moment. And that boy ruined it. He'd been in this world for less than 20 minutes and his life had already been at risk multiple times. Flashback to Grimm catching him in an explosion. Flashback to Grimm cutting him in 4 slices. Flashback to Grimm's blue flame-covered fists punching him. Flashback to Grimm drowning him in water. Flashback to Grimm decapitating him. A/N, if Grimm knew that his weakness was his heart, this fight could potentially have ended earlier depending on his mood. Enough! His decapitated head whispered as it drew closer to the ground. Enough, 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 enough! He screamed at the top of his lungs, causing the tremors to become even more violent. Feeling his rage and resentment in that scream, something inside of Grimm began bubbling up to the surface as the corners of his mouth began to rise. Ha, ha, ha. Starting out as a small chuckle, his laughter quickly transformed into a sadistic and uncontrollable fit. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! This is it! The anger! Hatred! Humiliation! This is despair! A devil's despair! Unable to control himself any further, Grimm dropped his thunder sword and covered his face with his hands in a similar way Zagred had done when he was telling Patry the truth of what happened 500 years ago. He's laughing, ha! He's actually laughing. Hearing the sound of Grimm's wild laughter, something inside of Zagred broke. The wild and out-of-controllable mana that he was exuding mere moments before suddenly became calm. Deathly calm. In fact, his entire demeanor seemed to change. Recover. Speaking a single word, all the anger and hatred in his tone seemed vanish as his body and head rejoined. Ignoring the harrowing pain coursing through his body from all the damage his body had taken from Grimm's magic, his grimoire floated over to his side and for the first time since getting it, it opened up. As if sensing the change in atmosphere, Grimm turned back to look at what should have been a decapitated head on the floor. Instead, all he got was the back of the devil. Facing away from him, the air around Zagred appeared to have grown colder and darker. It was almost like he was draining the color from the world around him. Feeling that something wasn't right, Grimm subconsciously took a step back. Reaching his hand out and grabbing the now opened grimoire, 2 words rang out from the devil's mouth. Hell language. Chapter 150, The Devil's in the Details. Asta POV. After defeating Dark Elf Patry with the help of Noel's big brother, Asta managed to pull the elf out of the depths of his own despair and return him back to his normal state. Well, normal enough. Despite no longer being a dark elf, the sclera in his left eye remained black and he still had access to his demon light magic. This magic? What is this? Feeling such heavy fluctuations in the devil's mana signature from above, Patry, Mimosa and Nozel's heads snapped upwards. With large beads of sweat rolling down their faces, the magic-sensitive quartet found themselves barely able to form a complete sentence. This magic power. What is that thing? Only Asta, who couldn't sense magic, remained completely calm. But from the looks on the faces of his friends, a heavy feeling formed in the pit of his stomach as he raised his head up. Grim. Hage Village. Following Nero's directions, Finral inserted the magic stones into the stone statue that stood upon the demon's head. Sweat drop. Only the eyes are left. He muttered as he put the final 2 stones into the eye sockets. Click. Once the final stone was inserted, some kind of reaction seemed to take place as the statue started glowing. Humming sound. What the? Is this magic power? Shadow Palace highest level. Well. This doesn't look good. Speaking in the language of hell, a dark circular portal formed behind Zagred's back. And out from that portal came a flood of weird purple CGI-looking stuff. Facing the weird CGI-looking purple stuff that writhed out of the portal, Grim felt his hand tightened on the hilt of his sword. But instead of feeling fear, his heart started beating even harder. After tapping into his true potential with his elven form, the amount of viable opponents in this kingdom had quickly diminished. Even that ferocious lioness Mirioliana was no longer on his level. Besides Licht and maybe the Wizard King, no one else could compete with the current him. And after adapting to the devil's fighting methods he felt like he had lost another playmate. But now, seeing this, it looked like he had trump card he hadn't been using this entire time. How could Grim's heart not skip a beat? And without knowing why, he figured out that the purple stuff Zagred had summoned was solidified magic from the underworld. Whoa, what the hell's that? A familiar voice rang out from nearby. That voice. Hearing the familiar voice, Grim's head snapped to the side. Standing there was a bulky man in a plain white t-shirt and black trousers. Holding a katana in one hand and a lit cigarette in the other, the man made a confused face when he saw the solidified magic pouring out of the portal. What a weird day. Yummy. Grim exclaimed, seeing the leader of his squad standing only a few meters away from him. Wait a second. How'd he get in here? I didn't feel his mana or ki with Asta and the others. Licht. Down at Licht's side stood the captain of the Blue Rose squad, Charlotte Rosalie. Well, the elf version of her at least. Those marks of reincarnation didn't lie. Yo brat. Yami called, seeing Grim. What is this stuff? He pointed at the solidified magic. And what's that weird black thing over there? He said, referring to the devil. Seeing the new arrivals, Zagred's feet slowly began to leave the ground as he rose higher and higher into the sky until he could look down on everyone present. No longer in the mood to play around, he floated silently in the air and just stared at them in an unsettling manner. Creepy. I am different from you. He suddenly started speaking and spread his arms wide. In fact, I'm from a completely different dimension. Beating me is impossible. My word soul magic is unstoppable. So that's what it's called. A mere elf, human, crossbreed and half-conscious mortal can't beat me. So do what all inferior species do. Half-conscious. Who's half-conscious? Yami? No, the devil clearly referred to him when he mentioned a human. But then who? The Blue Rose captain? No, she's the perfect image of a mere elf. And I don't think he'd call Licht mere elf. He can't be talking about me since he called me a crossbreed again. That just leaves Licht. But that's impossible, right? I mean, yeah, he doesn't speak much, and when he does it's slow like he's on the verge of falling asleep. No. No, that's not right. I mean, he's talking a lot more now than he did when he fought me in the Eye of the Midnight Sun's HQ. Slowly connecting the dots together, Grim's head slowly panned in Licht's direction. As if sensing him, Licht also moved so that his eyes locked with Grim's. With Zagred's monologue going on in the background, for the first time since the two had met, Grim looked into Licht's eyes. And what he saw were dazed eyes that didn't have a shred of emotion in them. Not droopy or unfocused, but definitely not the eyes of a person who was completely here. Realizing what this all meant and recalling his fight with him, the only thing Grim could say in this situation was fuck. Dark Cloak Dimension / Rengoku. Briar Magic. Demon Dweller Sword. Attacking the solidified underworld magic, the quartet were slowly being pushed back by the overwhelming size of the spell. If things didn't change soon, they would be overrun by the purple monstrosity. Phew 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 ha 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 h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h a h. The devil clutched its face and let out a chillingly gleeful laugh. For the first time since fighting the half-breed, he was finally able to push him back properly. Who knew that all it took was a spell from his grimoire? So what if the effects of his magic was reduced when faced against Grim? As long as he could overwhelm him he'd win. Rengoku. 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 Firing off blast after blast, Grim managed to push back some of the solidified magic, but with the amount coming at him it was only a matter of time until he'd be defeated. Just as I thought. Zagred mumbled, watching the entire thing from above. His magic is able to interfere with the other world. Good thing I got him now before he was able to grow. And while Grim's action had drawn his attention, Zagred was more caught off guard by Yami. Watching him continuously fire off dark magic spells, he was surprised to find another individual whose magic was capable of interfering with the other world. Unfortunately, Charlotte's Briar magic was useless here, as every attack she fired was swallowed by the spell. Impressive. You are all really impressive. But, you still cannot win. No matter how much you struggle, no matter how much effort you put in, my magic will devour you all. Rengoku. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. Dark cloaked avidya wild slash. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. So struggle, humans, elves, struggle until you breathe your final breath. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. Ugh. Forced to retreat backwards, Grim felt every bead of sweat fall from his face. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. This magic is really shitty and all, but god damn it, I gotta admit that this is insanely fun. Swoosh. Bang. Fighting against a super strong opponent. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. With my back against the wall. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. And the odds stacked against me. Asterisk bang. Asterisk. What could be better?
Thanks for listening.